ナドクライにいるとき、動物たちの行動で気になることがあれば私に聞きに来るがよ。
スネージ内まで荷を運べるし、毛も売れるだろうからね。
2日経ったな。まずは工房に行ってヤフォダが何か手がかりをつかんでないか見てみようぜ。よう、イネフ
こんにちは。ここ数日アイノの面倒を見ていただきありがとうございます。
ァ。気にするな。約束したからな。ヤフォダも来てたんだな。新しい。
まずはあたいの話を聞いてくれ。あの日、蒼月の子から戻った後、アシックを改めて調べてみたんだ。あいつは機械を手に入れようと躍起になってたから、一番怪しかった。でも、姉さんの人脈を使っても、あいつとこの事件の関連性はつかめなかった。他の商人に関しては、一人一人調べてみたけど、何の手がかりもつかめなかった。ほとんどは、あたいらが蒼月の子のところまで。今回の黒幕は手強いぞ。完璧に自分を隠してる。こんな奴をあぶり出す
Wait,
なんて。
didn't he admit to being the one who posted that thing? It's like the fact of the matter is he's the only one who knew about the machine, and the person who posted that posting knew that the Frost Moon Scions had it. So, if I don't know if we were able to link him to that posting, but if so, then like that we have proof that he knows about the machine, and we have proof that he knew that it was at the Frost Moon Scions, and he's the only one who has both of those things met.
まとめています。要約中。結論。この2日でヤフォダさんは有効な手がかりを得ること。
ちょっとぐらいオブラートに包んでくれたっていいだろ。もう
どうし。
強いて言えば、あの闇市の商人どもを全員引っ張ってきて、一人ずつ。
Well, that's what I find like weird, right? So it's rounding up those merchants. We know which merchant has it. Why are we rounding up the other merchants, right? We have a prime suspect, right? Like, sure, you know, if he turns out to be a dud, then yeah, we'd only be able to go. Yeah, obviously she was going to say yes to that. But yeah, like, why don't you try checking the prime suspect first?
言ってみただけだ。あいつらに手出しできると思ってんのか。
ナドクライ全体をですか。
本当にそうするわけにはいかないだろう。
もしそれがアイノが出す最終的な結論ならば。
It's also like really stupid, right? Because like, hasn't Aino created her own faction? Like, if Aino says no, fuck this dude, you're pretty much fucked. Because like, pretty much everyone in Nasha Town likes her, right? And like she has her like, and kind of not only likes her but kind of needs her, right? She was the one who made the fucking cannon. The Nasha Town needs her, constantly. So you've pissed off the person that Nasha Town needs, and regardless of like how they feel about her, right? We'll still back her because you have to have her.
帰ってきてからいろいろ考えたんだ。カンカン甘さ控えめに使われてる一部の技術は確かに悪いやつに狙われてもおかしくない。それにイネファをはじめともし今回カンカン甘さ控えめを奪い返せなかったら
I do find it a little weird, though. Considering how much she cares about this shit, it's surprising that she has no means of actually, like, tracking them down, right? Like, why wouldn't you put, like, a tracker in every single one of your robots? Like, you put a sign on... You put a little heart sign on every single one of your robots, and you even said, even disassembled, you can't get rid of this mark, which is, of course, makes no sense. Because, the mark is imprinted upon something, just remove that part and replace it with something else. That's how you do it. But regardless... you put a mark on them, so like, if you want to put a mark on them to identify them as yours, why don't you also just keep a tracker on them so you know where they are? And I understand, like, maybe not giving it to putting trackers on things you sell to other people, but this one was clearly not intended for other people. So why wouldn't you put a tracker on it?
だからナドクライ中をひっくり返アイノ今言ってた中で一番怪しいやつがいたでしょ
Yeah, exactly. No, he still could be a fall guy, right? It could be that someone behind him, maybe someone behind him was the one who brought him that intel, so he started acting on that intel, and then once the guy behind him was like, got confirmation through this guy's actions, Asiko's actions, that he was like, oh, cool, okay, we got confirmation, this seems like a good time, I'm going to do it now, and Asiko was the only one interacting with him was going to get all the blame.
誰かからの通信ですね。旅人さん宛ての。
お、どれどれ
That's probably for Nefer giving us vital info.
この文章は
Oh, yeah, because it was a merchant, I was like, yeah, Dory.
もしかして
Interesting. There's Dory, information that Nefer does not have. Because it seemed like between the two of them, Nefer is more savvy, and she has she's an information broker who works from Nasha Town. How would Dory have information that Nefer doesn't?
旅人がそう言うならイネファは引き続きお留守番をお願い今度こそカンカン甘さ控えめを取り返してくるよ
では皆さん、アイノ。
ヤフォダも一緒に来るかやっぱりアイノが心配だろ
心配かどうかは
Wait, what? Oh, I see. The fourth one must be an epilogue. Oops, wrong one. Oh, yeah, I guess I knew it was the third one, didn't I? And then, yeah, this is just going to be the epilogue. Yeah, I forget that's how they kind of do it. They do 3 acts and an epilogue at the end.
前回のじいちゃんはいないみたいだな。
旅人とパイもおー久しぶりですわ。
やっぱりドリーだったんだ。
はい大胆不敵な小僧だろうが。カチャカチャくるむかけ工房で盗みを働いた。
Also, what I found a little weird though is that like, so when we were attacking the when we were being attacked by the Frostmoon Scions, right? There's a bunch of robots that came in, steal stuff. We stopped a lot of robots. So like, what happened to that, right? We stopped tons of robots. One of them escaped. It's like, what? That was the one thing that had the part. We got like 8 of them. We stopped 8 of them, but one of them got the one with the actual part got away. Like that's kind of annoying and stupid. Unless maybe it had been disassembled, and so they were moving various parts. So maybe we did stop most of it from being kidnapped. But either way, it was also kind of like dumb because it's like, so we stopped all of that, and all that was completely meaningless because we didn't get the right one. I'm like, damn.
私が傍観するわけにはいきませんわ。
それで私の方でも調査してみましたの。そしてロボットを狙う闇市の商人は無数にいるはずですの。
そこから泥棒を見つけ出すなんて至難の技。だからもっと簡単な方法を模索すべきですわ。誰がロボットの仲間を盗んだかについて悩むよりも
確かに
そこでじゃじゃーんじゃじゃーん。コード密輸や盗品の追跡にたけた。
well, yeah. I mean that's the point. We didn't know where it was. That's why we were going to one of guys. The one guy we think is the suspect. We're going to his warehouses. It's also kind of weird too. Like so there was a robot taking a huge metal box from Frostmoon Scions. It's like, and no one saw where it went. Like, it had to have gone over so much fucking land. Although to be fair, it could have gone to a local boat, and they put on a boat, and then they just had the boat come into Notchtown, and it would just look like any other boat. Oh, I see. If she sent, so it is Nefer. So basically, she knows Nefer has the information. She's trying to act and get some money as a broker. Obviously, she's going to contact Nefer at the first place, which is, of course, really stupid. Oh, okay, I was wrong then. I did not think it was going to be a Melusine.
メルジーヌを紹介してくれるのか？フォンテーヌのメルジーヌって人間には感知できないものを感知したりできる。そんな奴が手伝ってくれるならカンカン。
いや、お前たちはドリーがどういうやつか知らないんだ。
モラ？旅人とパイモンはメリュジーヌにとって伝説の。
それほどまでに尊敬される英雄様だったとは思いもしませんでしたわ。
What are you talking about? We got a 20% discount. 20% discount of nothing is nothing.
ですので、今度お取引するときは半額にして。
結局この悪徳商人。
Like, what do you mean? Swindler claims that no. Just say no. Sorry, we got a 20% off discount. But if the fee is if the fee from the client is 0, then you get 20. Then you don't have it.
長くなっちゃうからはしょって話すけど、 マレショーセファントムのメリュジーヌは今密輸心配だから、休暇中の私が私のことはとりあえず置いといて。じゃあまずはその仲間の特徴を教えてくれる？細かければ。
わかっ。
もらもら、あ、
Also, like that's such bullshit. Oh, I would never dream. Oh, well, then all 800,000 goes to me. No, it doesn't. You don't get it because they don't accept it. They don't accept it means we don't pay it. It's that obvious. It's not like, you know, because then at that point we just say, hey, Melisine, please accept the money, and then just give it back to us. You know, like no, you get a percentage of the fee. First of all, yeah, you get a percentage. Because, as you said, the client would take a cut. So it's 800,000 because you need to make money off of the cut of that 800,000. But again, you're getting a cut of what they're charging. They're charging nothing. You should get nothing. And even if she's saying, "Hey, I'm not going to charge that," then fine. Whatever cut you would have gotten from 800,000 will go to you. So if you're going to get 10% of that or 20% of that, and the rest would go to the client or the person actually doing the work, fine. Then you get, 80 or 160,000 more. That's it. You don't get all 800,000 because the person doing the work refuses. No, of course not. Your cut should, whether or not the client charges us is beside the point. Your cut is still your cut. So yeah, obviously that's bullshit. We should have said no. Oh wait, what? Oh, I see. It's this one. It's the one that takes us up. I thought I would be able to, and that's kind of another annoying thing I have about this about those like little thingies. It's because it makes it think, oh, you can change your camera angle and move whatever way you want, but then it's like, nope, you just go in the direction it's designed to take you, which I guess is fine for the most part. But also kind of sucks when you want to do something specific.
ここだよ。あの偵察ユニットは向こうに消えてった。
うん。その飛行マシナリー、偵察ユニットについて
Oh, I see. I was gonna say, like, wait, you took your big fucking bakery robots to this hill for some reason? They must mean that they tracked the sentry bot that took it up until this point before they lost it. Which is, like, insane, because how the fuck... So you took a shitload of sentry bots that all left from Nasha Town going across to the Frostmoon Signs and no one fucking noticed that? And no one fucking noticed them coming back? Like, are you kidding me?
だからこの辺りでそれを回収。
あっちに誰かいるぞ。そいつらに聞いてみるの。聞きたいことがあるんだけど。
どこのクソガキだ。痛い目に遭いたくなければ失せろ。
面倒だな。法律的には容疑者にも黙秘権があるから相手に答えるよう命令することはできないね。 問題はそこか？じゃあ大丈夫だ。ナドクライに法律なんてない。
カチャカチャ軍団行け
やめてくれ。聞きたいこと。
何か重そうなものを。
そんなやつ毎日たくさんいるぜ。
待機時間と撤退2日前の午後4時から10時の間だね。その間ここにいて重い荷物を背負って離れた人見てない？
それなら確かに午後やってきて夜に帰ってきた。やけに
あの方向か。盗まれたロボットは闇市の商人に狙われまくってるから、次の休憩地点が分かったかも。
ここか？誰もいないぞ。
彼らが平均的な人間の成人男性の体力を持ってるとし、休めば必ず。
痕跡？何の痕跡だ？
たくさんあるよ。ここと坂。
あの日の偵察ユニットだ。
おおむね私の予想。
Well, yeah, no shit. It was 2 days ago. Even if they took a day to get here, we were already a day late.
ユニットと荷物を持って行ったんだ。でもここまで歩いてきて体力が持たなくなったんだと思う。ここに足跡があるよ。多分
足跡だけでどこに？
足跡から得られる情報は少しだけだけどね。私の推測が正しければこの砂は
特徴的な砂。思い出した。空爆実験設計局。
次の目的地が。
メリュジーヌってすごい。アイノの
引き抜きはダメだよ。
最後の手がかりも見つけたことだし。
飛ぶか。
やっぱり拠点がある。でもカンカン正控えめが見当たらないよ。中に隠してあるのかな。
守ってるやつが山ほどいるし。
ごめん、私はここまで。
謝る必要なんてないよ。もうここからはアイノたちだけで大丈夫。
そっか。
アイノ？よーし。カチャカチャクルムかけ工具。うわっ、ビュンビュンスパイ1号か？今はビュンビュン戦士1号だよ。
やっぱりアイノは危ないものを作ってたんだな。
一緒に中に突入すれば大丈夫。ここの悪い奴らにはこの子を止められないから。
なんだこれ。うわ、助けてくれ。
逃げるな。怖がることはない。こいつを止め。
すごい威力だ。
Is that the thing we're looking for?
あの鉄のカバーの中、きっとカンカン甘さ控えめのコアだ。でも
やはり私の改造した作品は
闇市のカウンターにいたやつ。
Yeah, this is what true genius can do. I was able to take the thing you made and just put it into something else. Like, I was able to install batteries into my remote. I'm clearly as much of a genius as the person who invented the remote. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
世の中をあっと驚かせる偉業を成し遂げ
Oh,
た。
okay.
もちろんこんなところまで
Okay, so it wasn't. I did kind of suggest that someone else was.
闇市の商人たち
Uh,
だが
あんたがミスリードを誘ってたんだ。
yeah.
一番最初に目に入る募集がタイミングよくお前たちの欲しがっている手がかりと結びつく。カウンターは情報の交差点。一人一人の目に入る情報を
最初にカンカン甘さ控えめを盗ん。
それがナドクライは弱肉強食の場所。このプロトタイプさえ
アイノから盗んだ。
盗む。彼女が無駄にしている。
So, yeah, but guess what? You can't make it. Having one of these things doesn't mean shit. It's like, okay, you put the core into this thing, cool. You were able to make one robot, but no one gives a shit about the person who can make one robot using stolen technology. They want the person who can make that, actually make the robot. You can't make another one of these.
あの頭の固い野蛮人どもや空爆の研究を独占しうるファデュイは揃いも揃っ、その中で幼稚なおもちゃばかり作っているその小娘。
Yeah, because she actually makes good things that everyone needs. You just made a fucking weapon out of your own selfish desires.
私こそが
大した自信だ
That
な。
role should have been mine. No, it should have. You are not a genius. It would be yours if you were that good, but you aren't. You suck. So no surprising that you can't create something as good as she can.
力。
烈日よ、私。
土に目よ、契約を果たせ。口封じを。
Oh, I see. This is. I always fucking hate things like that. That are like, hey, guess what? We're gonna be something. Oh, I see. Never mind.
攻撃しなくていいから。しばらく
Okay,
耐えれ
whatever.
ば大丈夫。カンカン甘さ控えめは絶対に戦争兵器になんてならないから。
Yeah, I can't do anything against it, so I might as well just. Yeah, but I don't like the idea of this doing that.
烈日よ、私。
手加減なしよ。目も舌も満足させてあげる。低温調理。
風が立つぞ。今だ。今だ。頭上を焼き尽くす。
さあ、働きなさい。冷凍の時間よ。水遊びの時間だよ。えい。せい。
Is he gonna like run out of juice and power down?
どういうことだ。技術者チェックしろ。
It's also like incredibly stupid, right? It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna fight the robot and some random dudes. We came with an entire group. Why didn't Aino or why didn't Inefa, like since Aino was down with us, why didn't Inefa just jump up and beat the shit out of them? And I'm like, hey, Aino, let's just stand here letting an engineer stop. Like, let's just stand here letting an engineer go up and interact with the robot. This is the perfect time to beat the shit out of both of them.
どんな媒体だ。甘い歌詞だと。
何にもびっくりすることないでしょ。カンカン甘さ控えめはお菓子だから設計するときにカンカン甘さ。
なるほど。このコアはケーキなどの甘いお菓子を焼くには十分。戦争兵器に改造するとしたらナドくらい中の小麦粉と砂糖。
今さらそんなことに気づいたのか。早く。
この機能はシステムに完全に組み込まれています。
Yeah. You obviously aren't, and that's what's so crazy, right? So even this dude who's saying, oh, this should have been me, I should be the one with all this renown and everyone should be groveling at my feet. Dude, you're not even the person who was able to use her core, right? You have to have another engineer do it for you. So not only are you not a genius, you're not even... It's so fucking entitled. So this dude not only can't make stuff the way she does, but still covets what she does. You shouldn't be recognized as a genius. I should be, because I don't have any of those skills, but I still want the recognition. Like, you can't even make a robot, and you're still bitching and moaning about someone who made something of herself by making robots. It's like so fucking stupid. Like I can't draw, as an example, right? I don't fucking insult artists and say, all your recognition you get from drawing art should go to me. The person who doesn't draw at all and doesn't even try because I'm not a good artist. It's like, what? Why should I get their recognition? That's so fucking stupid. It's supposed to be my big break. Dude, you can't even use it. All you are is the person who gives it an order, but you're not the engineer who made the robot. You're not the engineer who's maintaining it. You're not the person who actually created the thing. How is this your big break when you're like, you have no involvement in any part of the creation process? Why are we letting them do this? Just fucking attack them, for fuck's sake! I fucking hate this stupid bullshit where we're just like, hey... oh, okay, I mean, I guess, sure, whatever. But yeah, so maybe she... Okay, that would explain why she maybe didn't do this, but it's like, dude, why are you standing around letting... It's like, oh, it powered down. I know. Hey, everyone, let's all stand here and let them try to turn the robot back on. I know we weren't able to beat it before, but surely if we just stand here and let them try to get it operational again, that will lead to a good situation. It's like, dude, just fucking attack. Oh, it powered down? Great, attack. Stop everything and attack this fucking dude. You know? It's so I always hated it in stories like this where you're just like, everyone acts like complete fucking morons. In a world with ranged attacks, we just let this random dude... In a world with fucking guns, we literally, dude, completely unprotected, stand at a railing and don't even try to attack him while we deal with his goons. And now he's running away. Why? Oh no, he got away. Why? Because you didn't fucking do anything with him. Why the fuck did no one attack him? Like, why the fuck would you let him have this long fucking thing, allow him to get all his forces there, waste all your time getting this? Now, obviously, since we know who he is, like, it's kind of a moot point, because, like, what the fuck is he gonna do? But, dude, I fucking hate this. It's such bad writing. You know? Because that's the thing, is that he ran away after we beat everyone, right? So he was standing there for the longest fucking time. And the fact that we let him send a mechanic out to try to fix the thing, did nothing with him. Two new goons come out. Aino beats those two, but then doesn't do anything else beyond that. And then we get even more people, and it's just like, dude, just fucking attack the fucker. Or have a good reason why we can't. Like, have him behind a fucking bulletproof... Like, what would have made more sense if we went inside the warehouse, and he was behind a bulletproof thing, so it's like, oh, we can't attack him here, so we have to, deal with this thing first, right? And by the time we get it, beat that and get up to the perch where he was hiding behind bulletproof glass, then he escapes. And it's like, well, crap, we tried to rush. But it's like, no, the dude's fucking right in fucking plain sight the entire fucking time. You could have attacked him at any point. Anyone could have just jumped up and fucking beat the shit out of him. And no one does anything. And then it's like, yeah, sure, he's going to get his comeuppance because now we know who he is. And once word gets out, he's going to get absolutely fucked because, as he himself admitted, yeah, Crumb Clank is, like, very well regarded. It's the savior of Nasha Town with her cannon and constant inventions and shit. So it's like, yeah, and so if if you just let word get out that he pissed them off and stole their shit, everyone in town is going to hate him. Yeah, so Seril was the one who did this, then what the fuck was Inefa doing the entire time?
Aino-san, 先ほどの混戦の中、みんなでなんとかロボットこの技術をしっかりとお守りいただければ幸いです。という。
Yeah, but it doesn't.
君たちが悪いやつじゃないってことは分かったから。
But it's like, and she's a child, so it's whatever. It's like, I now know. It's like, yeah, doesn't fucking matter. You should get arrested as well. Because the fact that you tried to withhold, the fact that you thought the non-owner of something thought that your opinion mattered more than the owner of the property, it's like, no. If the owner says if the owner wants it back, you give it back to the owner. The second you said no, you were a fucking criminal. You should have gotten exiled from your clan for being a piece of shit. Because that's piece of shit behavior. That's ends justifies the means type behavior. That's saying, hey, I know what I'm doing is bad, but it's for the greater good. So fuck you. And it's just like, it's bad. You shouldn't allow this. You should be fucking exiled. Llama should have told him, no, you can't fuck around like that. So yeah, all in all, I mean, overall, it's fine, right? Overall, the story is fine. I think there's two stupid aspects of it. One was the fact that Llama didn't stop those two, that we ended up having to fight them when they refused to give Aino back her device. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, you don't get a... Oh my god, this is so fucking annoying. Oh, what the fuck? Like, you don't get to decide what other people do with their property. You know? It's just wrong. So that's what's just so fucking stupid about it, right? And the fact that that happened, and it's stolen because of it, and the dude even blamed us at first. He was like, it's your fault. If you weren't interacting with us, the robots wouldn't have gotten it. It's like, yeah, you know what also would have happened? If you had just given it back to us in the first place, it also wouldn't have happened. You know? So it's like, it's insane that how entitled this fucking piece of shit was, that when it gets stolen, his first reaction was to blame us for trying to take back our property. And it's like, oh, and then finally he's like, I understand now, you should have it. It should go back to your... Yeah, no fucking shit, dipshit. Yeah, no fucking shit. It should go back to the owner. Wow, thank you for being so magnanimous and letting us take back our property that was ours to begin with. Wow, you're such a nice guy. No, fucking exile him from the fucking clan. He's an asshole. Has extensive surveillance, except she didn't know who stole it in the first place, and it was able to abscond with it. Has a ton of surveillance, but apparently no tracking devices, which is like if you care that much about your robots, how the fuck do you not have a tracking device on them? You know, how the fuck do you, like, if you're gonna surveil them like that, put cameras all over your place to know what happened to them? Then first of all, and then that still didn't work because we didn't know who stole it at all. But then also not having a track. So you care enough to put surveillance all over the place, but not enough to actually put trackers in them so you can find them if they get stolen, right? So fucking stupid. Like, there's just so many logical inconsistencies with this story. It is kind of annoying. But, like, you know, some of it is just, because this is designed for, like, teenagers, right? Like, story-wise. So obviously the intelligent thing to do of beating the shit out of the guy controlling everybody while, you know, sending an Efa to attack him would have been the best thing to do. Stop him from escaping. Could have done that instantly. But no, you didn't. It's very like Power Rangers-esque, where you're just like, yeah, we're just gonna fight and then talk it out at the end. Oh, okay. Well, never mind, that makes sense. So that's why he wasn't caught. It's because those surveillance robots were destroyed. Now, how do you not know that, right? Like, how do you not know the surveillance robots are destroyed? Like, you know, like, for us, you know, if we have cameras all over the place. Well, I'm walking right now, so I'm just generally going to be out of breath. But it's just like so. Okay. It's just I don't know. I just don't like this. But yeah, I mean, it's just logically inconsistent. And regardless, like you should. I mean, it's bad writing. Basically, at its core, it's bad writing. You should make things logically inconsistent. If you have all the surveillance robots, then one, how do you not have trackers? Two, how do you not even know when a surveillance robot is destroyed? You know, like for our security camera systems, usually they go up to those televisions in a security room, and if one of the cameras is broken, you see a black screen. So you're like, okay, you would instantly know if someone was monitoring security, you'd instantly know, hey, we have 16 televisions all connected to 16 cameras. One of them is black. Clearly, one of the robots, one of their cameras is destroyed. Like, how are you only figuring this out now? Especially because, like, well, I mean, there's been lots of in-game time. But, like, we've had lots of in-game time where we, like, kill time, which matches up with the release of the actual quests. Because they always say, oh, well, let's wait 2 days, right? Because the first quest came out when the event first started, and then 2 days, 2 actual real-world days. Dude, fuck off. If you're gonna be a fucking little bitch, then fuck off. Jesus Christ, dude. If you don't like it, then leave. Jesus fucking Christ, the entitlement of some people. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying. Yes, no shit. I'm voicing my thoughts, you moron. Also, this goes to the VOD, so some people might agree or disagree with me on the VOD. But yes, I'm voicing out my thoughts. I'm thinking aloud. I'm not talking to anyone. Otherwise, because how the fuck? I don't even know you're here. I don't know who's here. I don't know anything. So, obviously, if no one speaks, I don't know they're there. So, obviously, I'm speaking to myself. I'm just voicing my thoughts on the matter. Yeah, no shit. Do you have anything else that's blindingly obvious that you'd like to say, like you're trying to say something important, but it's insanely fucking obvious? No fucking shit, dude. And it's also, I'm voicing out my thoughts. These are my thoughts. I'm just speaking them aloud. I'm not speaking them to anybody. They are, like, how do you not understand that? Like, how do you even, who are you voicing them to? That's what speaking your thoughts aloud are. Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I'm just annoyed by the logical inconsistencies of the story. Generally, they don't do stuff like this. It is frustrating when they can't make things make sense. And it's not even just like this story specifically. It's lots of stories. This is something I've seen in many stories before, where they do things like this, where they're just like letting shit happen, and they basically write characters to be stupid so that the plot can progress. Obviously, if she knew about the security cameras, she would have checked them instantly. Like you had a. I mean, I guess maybe you're not paying attention. I said I'm walking. I'm on my treadmill right now, dipshit. So I'm walking while I'm saying this, so I'm speaking while I'm out of breath, basically. And who asked, right? So, but yeah, it's not even just like specifically Genshin. What? Why does that even matter? That makes it even less sense. If it happened in real life, then it would at least make sense because people are stupid. But you're saying, oh, it's a story. Yes, it is a story. It's fiction. Someone had to make up the story, and rather than make it make sense, they wrote something stupid. That's the point. If it was real life, you could at least say, oh, well, that guy's not smart. Or this, crazy things happen. Like, you can't argue with reality, right? If this actually happened, you couldn't argue with it. But when someone's given the, ability to write a story, and they write something stupid into the story, that's the problem. Don't write stupid shit into your story. At least make it make sense. Like the guy who stood up there completely being completely in the open, just letting us, and all of us just attacking the robot and not attacking him at all, despite this world having magic and ranged attacks, it makes no fucking sense. And as I said, like, the way you could have easily written that is, instead of us just finding them all in this big open space, we could have actually gone into the warehouse first. And he could have been, up on the second floor behind some bulletproof glass, behind some glass in a control room of some sort. And he could have been there, and he would have been completely unassailable. We wouldn't have been able to attack him. Even if we shot an arrow at him, it would have hit the glass and bounced off. That would have made sense. And then by the time we defeated all his goons down below, he could have run away by that time. Makes total sense. But no, they decided to have it out in the open. The guy right in plain sight the entire time. We have tons of people on our side, any one of which could have just gone and attacked him, like Inefa. Aino was on our team for that fight, so Inefa was free, and Inefa could have gone and attacked him. So, it makes no sense to do so. And similar for this guy. This guy, Inefa's kind of like, hey, yeah, you did this, you're the assistant we were looking for, but it's like, how do you not know that the security bots were destroyed ahead of time? Like, you knew that somebody stole something from you. Why didn't you check the security bots? Why didn't you check the surveillance bots? Why did that? Like, the fact that you weren't even aware of the security bots being destroyed is weird too, because you're all on this network. How do you not know when one of your robots goes down? Normal people would know this shit. So it's like, yeah, just bad writing. It's could be. She did say I had Aino repair them, and the recovered records make it clear. It's like, so you could argue that, oh, well, Aino needed to repair them, and that's why we didn't know right away. But it's like, we've had literal in-game time happen while waiting before every single quest. In the 3 quests we had, we got the first one when the event dropped, and then we had to wait 2 real-world days for the next quest to drop. But basically, when you finish the first quest, it does say, even in-game, hey, Jehoda will have some more information, check back in 2 in-game days, and you have to skip time ahead. And this happens between quest 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So 4 in-game days are passing while people are doing literally nothing. So if Aino's going to repair the service bots, if you're going to check the surveillance bots and repair them, you think you would have done it during the huge amounts of downtime between the 3 quests. So the fact that you're only bringing this up now is stupid. Because you would have had a link to the guy, you wouldn't have even needed the Mellow sign if you had just, checked the bots and then did it before. So, it's logically inconsistent. It's obviously not good. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, this is... What? I didn't realize we had a psychologist in the chat. Have you ever thought that maybe what I literally just said is what annoys me? That I don't like illogical stories? Have you ever... I know it's a crazy thought, but have you ever thought that about what I said is actually what I feel? And that I don't like inconsistent stories? You're like, oh, you're looking for things to be wrong. No, that is wrong. That is clearly wrong. Do you think that it makes any logical sense for... so basically... By saying that, you think basically what I just said is wrong. Because you think, well, no, you're just looking for stuff. It's like, okay, well, is anything I said wrong? Are any of the conclusions that I was talking about, or the examples I was giving that could have explained, that they could have done instead, was any of that incorrect? Because if it was correct, then your point is irrelevant. Because you're basing it saying, well, no... If that's, if I was incorrect, then you could be like, well, yeah, you're wrong, and you're just looking for things to get upset about. It's like, no, I'm right. The things I did mention are 100% bad storytelling, bad writing, and that's what upsets me. And I don't know how long you've been here, but I did preface the entire thing once I beat the 3rd quest. I did preface it saying, overall, I liked it. I said, overall, I did like it, right? Because, yeah, it was a fun little quest. And you could be like, oh, well, you're nitpicking. It's like, yeah, I guess. You know, sure. Are the things that I mentioned that bad? Well, some of them are. Like, obviously, when we found Llama, who is the head of her Frost Moon Scions, when she brought us to the guy who stole the robot, they were like, no, we didn't steal it. We found some thieves, and they ran away when they saw us, and so we took it back. It's like, fine, sure. You know, they found the thieves, and the Frost Moon Scions are in the middle of nowhere, so it's like it's understandable, especially when there's no police, that they didn't mention it to anybody. But when the owners of said object come back, and you just flat out say, no, you can't have your property. I don't trust you. I think you're doing something nefarious, so I'm not going to give you back your property. And it's like, how is that okay? You know? It makes no fucking sense, especially when we have the head of their organization right by our side, who at any point could have just said, hey, no, you can't do that. That's their thing. You have to get back their thing. But no, she didn't say a single fucking word after we talked to her that first time. And then while we were fighting these dudes, we have to end up actually fight these guys who refused to give Aino back her shit. Llama didn't say a thing. And then the robot gets stolen while that happens. And it's just like, okay, well, that's fucked up. Llama, why the fuck didn't you tell them to give us back their shit? Like, our shit, it's our shit, give it back. And then also, why didn't you punish them? Because these people refused to give back something that wasn't theirs. Like, that's a crime in and of itself. That's like, they should have been punished. Obviously, they should have been punished. Because what they did was totally a dick move. Even if they think they were doing it for the greater good, that's an ends justifies the means mentality, and that doesn't give you the right to decide what, you know, people, you don't get to decide what other people do with their property. No shit. Like, that's an obvious thing. It's obviously logically, there's a logical inconsistency with it. That one, I mean, it'd be one thing if he was just by himself. And when I did this quest yesterday, or the day before, I even gave a reason how you could have gotten around this, is that if we didn't meet Llama, if we had met another Frost Moon Scion who maybe mentioned these two, and we could have gone accosted them, and then it's just them versus us, sure. But we were with the literal head of their organization, and she did nothing. She didn't tell them, hey, give it back. What you did is wrong. And then, despite observing them do wrong things, they didn't get punished. And they even came back after we recovered the thing, acting like, look, you know, clearly I was wrong, and you really should have this thing back. And it's like, what? You're acting like your opinion matters at all. Like, no, it's still not yours. You don't get to decide what happens to it. Who gives a shit if you admit your mistake now? You made a mistake. And the fact that you're making it seem like we would still have to have your permission before giving it back is total bullshit. Like, it should have been, here, I know, here's the thing. Here is your property. I realize I shouldn't have, you know, I shouldn't have kept it from you because of my own misconceptions, right? That's what it should have been. So yeah, the story was not good for that part. For these parts, I'm not saying the entire story. I'm just saying these specific parts. And as I said slightly earlier, but these are the kind of things that happen when you have to write characters to be stupid so the plot progresses. Because obviously, if those guys gave them the machine back at the end of Quest 2, we wouldn't have to look for the machine in Quest 3, right? The machine wouldn't have gotten stolen. Now, you could have still had it get stolen, right? It could have been like, they could have been like, oh, it's yours? Okay, sure, we'll go to the warehouse and pick it up, right? And on our way to the warehouse, those sentry bots could have come and taken it, right? Still could have happened that way. And it wouldn't have been so stupid. I'm just saying the way they told the story introduced inconsistencies. Llama shouldn't have been there because she would have told them to give it back. So either you have to have her say give it back, and then we could have gone to the warehouse. They could have said, okay, we'll go to the warehouse, and then it gets stolen right in front of our faces. Fine, that's fine. At least it makes sense. It makes logical sense that this would have happened this way, you know, because we wouldn't know that we could have stopped, you know, the robot attack, right? So that would have been fine. The guy standing up on the second story, just completely in the clear. And when the robot powers itself down, he's like, hey, bring the engineer on. And we just stand in front of the robot, letting the engineer work on it. Like, why the fuck are you doing that? It's just, Attack the fucking engineer, capture the engineer, attack the fucking mastermind. Like, why the fuck are you just standing there waiting for shit to happen? Like, stop it. Because it's like, oh, cool, the machine powered down. I know, let's just stand in front of the machine waiting for them to power back up again. Yep, that's a good idea. Like, and that's an example of that. You're writing characters to be stupid so that the plot can progress, right? So that the whole dialogue between the engineer and the mastermind can happen. And it's just like, no. Realistically, once the machine powers down, we would have attacked the guy. We would have attacked the mastermind, you know? So you would need to have a good reason why the mastermind couldn't be attacked. And as I said, just have this whole situation take place within a warehouse that has the mastermind in a secure location looking down on us, right? In a safe spot. So we could only deal with the goons. Again, it's not rocket science. I'm not saying that, like, they did such amazingly horrible job and, you know, boo them. I'm just saying, the story overall is fine. It was a fun little story, interesting enough. It also, like, you know, it does undercut the idea that Aino is basically beloved by the entirety of Nasha Town because of her inventions and all the work she does. And this guy wants to steal her shit and is expecting in any way that level of recognition. It's like, no. Once it gets out that you did this, everyone will hate you. Like, that would be fucking obvious. You know? The only way to get around shit like that would be to do what that Frostmoon Scion did. Take the shit you stole and go to someone who wants it. You can at least get the recognition from the person you sell it to. But you're never going to get Nasha Town's recognition after stealing from someone who has helped the town so much. So yeah. There's a lot of dumb little things about that. And I think calling it out is fine. You know? It's dumb. Don't do it. It's bad storytelling. I mean, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Just let me know. You know? But the reason why it seems like I'm getting so upset is not because of specifically this game by itself, right? It's not like, oh my god, Genshin did this thing that no one else ever does. It's like, no, I've seen this multiple times. Not just in Genshin, but just in storytelling in general. Where, like, characters do stupid shit just so the plot can progress. Like, my go-to example of it is Nod-Krai's Fantasia, which is a game not many people played on the Wii. But basically, what happened in Nod-Krai's Fantasia is you're chasing after some villains, and they've gone to the top of a tower. And so, you go up to the top of the tower, and as you're going up the tower, to finally get to the very, very top of the tower, you take this winding staircase that goes around the outer edge of the tower. So there's this, you pop out of the tower, and then you go up this winding staircase on the outside of the tower until you finally get to the top. And when we get there, all of our buddies are right at the top of the stairs going down. And we do a boss battle. And we're like, we beat the boss battle, right? And it comes out of the battle, and all of our characters, all of our party is right in front of the staircase going down. Still, we haven't moved. And the villain escapes. And you know how they escape? The people, our party members, who were in front of the staircase, the only staircase leading away from the top of the tower, get out of the way. Our actual characters physically move their sprites out of the way so that the bad guys can run away. Like, they don't even have something like, oh, they pushed their way through, or they knocked you out. It's like, no, they show your party members move out of the way first, and then the bad guys go through the opening and down the stairs. Like that. So obviously they just didn't want to make a cutscene where that could make sense. So they just did that, but it's like, it's just so fucking stupid. It is so dumb. And it's just like, yeah, I see that kind of shit all the time. And it just is frustrating. Because it's just like, it ruins the immersion of the story, right? Because you're like, oh, this is a real world. And it's just like, this is a real world, but now apparently they're all fucking morons. And it's just like, sure, Aino is naive, so I can't expect her to do something, but like our character should have like jumped off the robot and attacked the dude. Inefa would have attacked the dude. She went into annihilation mode and the guy still got away. You know, like what the fuck? Also, I mean, the fact of the matter is you went to a black market to post your notice, right? It's like, oh, well, all I did was, you know, express my my admiration of her work, and how I wanted to, you know, spend money to acquire it. It's like, yeah, sure. And if you did that above ground, but it's like, no, you go to an illegal black market and post something like this, that is obviously eliciting illegal behavior. Because you're not going to proper means. Even the quote-unquote legal black market would have been fine. You went to specifically to an illegal one and are surprised that people did illegal things there. It's like, no shit, you know? You can't claim that you're not culpable when you considering where you posted the order. I hope to be compensated for my initial... No, fuck you! No, you went to a black market and elicited illegal things. If you lose money because you have to rescind your offer, then fuck off. Like, it's so fucking... It's like, wait a minute. You mean, I'll rescind my offer, but I would lose the money I spent to make that offer. It's like, you went to an illegal place to elicit illegal activity, and we're telling you to stop it now. And you're like, no, I want some money. I want some money for it then. Go fuck off. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, again, Aino is loved by the entire town, the entire Nacha town. She has the backing of so many people. How can people like this think, oh yeah, I'll just piss them off? That seems like a good idea. This is what I find like stupid, right? There are many unwritten rules in Nod-Krai Shadows. Yes, there are. And that's what operates the legal black market. But this guy was putting up notices on the illegal black market, so clearly he himself is already violating the quote-unquote rules of Nod-Krai Shadows. Okay, whatever. Okay, so that was the end of 3 then. But I'm going to go ahead and take a break. Been walking for an hour and 5 minutes. I'm tired. chatting a lot. Some random douche appeared, thinking they know anything. And it's like, I always did find that kind of annoying when people show up, and if you ever show any sort of emotion, they try to read into it. They're like, oh yeah, well, the emotion you're feeling is not because of you being annoyed by this or that, right? Well, I'm still going to stream. I just need to go shower right now. I'm going to do more exploration, but I can't. I need to, shower because I'm all sweaty and shit. So I need to go shower. So I'm going to chill here in this little spot for a bit, and then I will come back and play the game some more. But I'll still stay alive because why not? This is annoying to have to upload 2 VODs. I'll just keep it as 1. But anyway, be right back.
アビスの声に身を委ねていたなら、私はとっくに私ではなくなっていただろう。本能に抗うことは生き残るよりも難しい。方向を見失った時は高いところに行ってみるといい。アビスの声に身を委ねていたなら、私はとっくに私ではなくなっていただろう。本能に抗うことは生き残るよりも難しい。 方向を見失った時は高いところに行ってみるといい。アビスの声に身を委ねていたなら、私はとっくに私ではなくなっていただろう。本能に抗うことは生き残るよりも難しい。方向を見失った時は高いところに行ってみるといい。アビスの声に身を委ねていたなら、私はとっくに私ではなくなっていただろう。本能に抗うことは生き残るよりも難しい。 方向を見失った時は高いところに行ってみるといい。ちょっとなまってきたな。どこかに調停人の出番はないか？方向を見失った時は高いところに行ってみるといい。アビスの声に身を委ねていたなら、私はとっくに私ではなくなっていただろう。本能に抗うことは生き残るよりも難しい。 方向を見失った時は高いところに行ってみるといい。アビスの声に身を委ねていたなら、私はとっくに私ではなくなっていただろう。本能に抗うことは生き残るよりも難しい。ちょっとなまってきたな。どこかに調停人の出番はないか？方向を見失った時は高いところに行ってみるといい。 ちょっとなまってきたな。どこかに調停人の出番はないか？
Okay, I'm back. I finished my shower and had myself some dinner. So I'm ready to just do some relaxing exploration. So I can pop this part away. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. But yeah, for those who are tuning in now, and maybe for the VOD watchers, for any VOD watchers out there, I don't believe that on PlayStation you can see what the Twitch chat was saying, but basically there was a viewer who came in when I was expressing my frustrations about the story. They just told me to just stop. Just, yeah, don't feel that. That's dumb. Like, you should not feel that way. Like, just don't get upset. Like, yes, clearly that's how emotions work. You can just tell them, no, hey, emotions, just stop. Stop feeling emotions, please. You know. Which, of course, is stupid. You know? Because it's just like this idea that it's like, oh, well, you can't express your emotions like this. It's like, yeah, I can express my emotions the way I want. You know, you as the person. But no, like, only the things you care about are the things that are worthy of emotions, and anyone else can only get upset about the things you deem worthy of being upset about. And for me, I like stories. I mean, that's like the main reason I play games like this, is that I play it for the story. So it is upsetting when there are what I feel are immersion-breaking inconsistencies in the story progression, where you just wrote the characters to be stupid so that the plot can progress. I don't like it. I've never liked it. It's not unique to Genshin. Lots of games and lots of stories do it, because sometimes they just can't think of a reason, and they're like, "Well, we need the plot to happen this way, so this has to happen. Like, this person has to steal this, or kill that guy, or kill this thing, or whatever. This has to happen. So we're going to write something stupid." And rather than, you know, finding a way to make it work, right? Finding a way to make it work within the constraints of your setting, they end up just doing it the lazy way of just being like, "Nope, it just happens." And as I gave some examples before, like, there are, like, some of the complaints I have, I even offered suggestions of what could have been done differently so that it wouldn't have been an issue, right? So, like, for some things, obviously for the security bot thing they mentioned at the end, that makes no sense at all. Like, it makes no sense, and I can't think of a good way to make it make sense, because it's like, okay, well, if Aino has all these security bots because she cares about her robots so much that she has a bunch of security bots, constantly recording stuff, then how did you not know that these cameras were destroyed, right? Because he would have had to destroy the cameras before stealing stuff, so how did you not know about these broken security cameras? And then you were like, well, and when Aino restored them, we knew, we saw you in them and saw that you must have been the person who actually did the stealing. Which is like, okay. But why did she only figure it out now, right? We spent 4 in-game days not knowing where to go, and the Mellow Swine helping us out to be like, oh, well, we're going to do all this detective work to figure out where they were, and all that shit. And, which led us to, finding the guy, but then Inefa is like, oh yeah, we also found out this guy was an accomplice. It's like, well, if we knew he was an accomplice, we might have been able to figure out who was the ultimate guy, like who was the, we might have been able to figure out the connections earlier. So like, there's just no way that makes sense. The way they've done the story. Now technically, I guess the easiest way to fix things would be to not have in-game time progress. Because basically what they've done is they've tried to match up the in-game time with the out-game time. So when the event first started, that's when the first quest was released. And then the second quest only released 2 in-game days later. So basically, if you did the quest on the very first day, you would have to wait 2 days outside IRL. You have to wait 2 days IRL, and then also progress 2 days in-game, and then you could do quest 2. And then after quest 2, quest 3 would come out, again, 2 real days later. So basically, but every time they did this, they would also have you progress time in-game. So all this shit's happening over 4 days, assuming that the quests themselves take no time and travel takes no time. Aino could have, and it's like, it's not even like Aino was doing anything else. It was like Aino was just sitting on her ass doing nothing while we wait for, clues and stuff. So like they could have fixed the security bots at that point. So it's like, it just doesn't make sense. So, for me, I play these games for the story, so it is annoying for me when, they basically have a fun story. It's a fun, overall, I don't dislike the entire story. These are some aspects of the story I dislike, and it just ruins the immersion. And it's sad because a few of the things I've given, like, easy solutions of how you would just resolve it in a way that makes logical sense. But they didn't do that, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't be complaining. And then we get some random douche who sort of shows up and says, hey, sorry. Yeah, and then there's this dude who came up and said, nope, sorry, don't be upset. And to be fair, I was pretty animated, and I was on my treadmill, so everything I was saying was out of breath, which might make it seem like I'm getting super upset or whatever. But like, just telling someone not to feel emotions is just so stupid. And generally, like, you don't go to a streamer and just tell the streamer what to do, and like, no streamer likes that. I mean, hell, not even streamers. No people like that. If you go up to random people and tell them what to do, most people will probably get annoyed at you. But yeah. But yes, thank you for your consideration. But yeah, so there's this one dude before. It's whatever, right? But I finished my workout. had something to eat. Showered off. Still fucking hot. But yeah, I was walking for an hour in 82-degree weather, which while playing Genshin, so it's still 82 inside, so I'm still sweating a lot. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay. And then there's the Aino's final epilogue quest. But yeah, just a few things like that just kind of ruin the immersion. I mean, that's kind of what turned me off of Wuthering Waves too. Is that Wuthering Waves had even more logical inconsistencies, and like that really, really affected the plot. You're just like, okay. or like they'd be logically inconsistent with like the main. It's not something. The main part of the world, and you're just like, what? How do you get this wrong? Let's see more of these berries.
ここ数日頑張ったんだから、あたいもケーキの一切れぐらいもらってもいいだろ。
ケーキが食えるのか？
ええ、お二人ともちょうどいいところにいらっしゃいました。
I'm curious actually what this machine will look like, because we've never actually seen it in its original form. Like, we only ever saw it when the Frost Moon Scions were talking about how they first came across it. It was two treasure hoarders who were in front of this big machine, and they had to leave, but we never actually saw it, like, full-on shot. We always saw just a portion of its frame as we were looking behind, like, from behind the machine to see the treasure hunters, and then basically when it was stolen, it was just in a box so that the rescue bot took away, the sentry bot took away. And then when we came across it in Quest 3, it was already, they mentioned its core had been removed and put into another weapon. So I am curious what first of all, what its core even looks like, and then what its original machine looked like, because they said it was like super big. So I'm curious how big it would be. What? Maybe that's its core? It doesn't look super big, though. So that must be its core, then, because, like, the treasure hoarders were definitely in front of something huge. Nice. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't look super cool. I mean, it looks funny. I think it's amusing. Oh, okay, so it's a new body. So I guess it didn't look like this before, so we have no clue what it actually looked like. And it's gonna pop up in his mouth, there's gonna be cake inside, probably.
自分で食べちゃったぞ。
料理を作った人が料理を出す前につまみ
カンカン甘さ控えめは食べ終わった後に改めて。
わかったぞ。
アイノはさっき新しいロボットの案を
So I guess we're never going to see what it looks like. Oh, I do think it's a little silly, though. So basically, it was already a humongous robot, and it was stolen. And she's like, oh no, it was stolen. So what does she do when she gets the core back? She makes a body that's even easier to steal. It's like, it was a huge machine, so it makes it really pain in the ass to steal, which is a turn in and of itself. And after it gets stolen and she recovers it, she makes it even easier to steal the next time. Especially now that more and more people know how valuable it is.
アイノはなんで
その答えを出すに当初、アイノはお菓子より夢中になれるものがあることに驚いていたようです。アイノは幸運です。周りの人は生計を立てるのに精一杯で時間の余裕がないにもかかわらず、彼女の趣味を応援。ある日、素晴らしい先生と出会ったことで、アイノの好きなことは I
mean, to be fair, she is like... I do give Aino a little bit of a pass, because, like, Aino is a child, basically. So it's like, it's understandable for her to be naive. So it's like, yeah, sure, I get it, right? Like, to not believe... To believe... Like, when she forgave the Frost Moon Scion, who was still acting pretentious when giving back her core, saying, yes, I realize the error of my ways, you can have your core back. It's like, yes, thank you for giving back my property. Thank you for allowing me to have my property back, Frost Moon Scion. What a nice guy you are. Like, the fact that she kind of forgave him a little bit shows, like, it's just another example of her naivety. So it's like, yeah, sure, that makes sense for Aino to act like that. But all the other issues with the story, where it's like, you were like, other people should have been doing stuff. Like how Llama didn't intercede when we were talking to the people who were able to recover the robot from the treasure hoarders. That Llama didn't tell them, hey, assholes, give Aino back her property. Like, she just stood there while we got into an argument with her Frost Moon Scions, who refused to give Aino back her device because they don't trust Aino. And it's like, I'm sorry, Llama, like, are you not the leader of this place? Like, why aren't you just slapping them in the face and telling them to give it back? You know? Like that. Like, you should just do that. Like, it's that kind of stuff where it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And I mean, I gave an example of how you can fix that. It'd be super easy. You just don't have us meet Llama. We go back to this Frost Moon Scions. Llama's not there. We talk to another Frost Moon Scion, and she mentions, oh yeah, I met some people who discovered a device a few days ago, and directs us to them. And then if it was just us talking with just them, them getting into an argument and being assholes, it's like, whatever, right? they believe in what they believe in. But like the fact that we were with Llama, the only like pretty much the best person in the tribe who could have just told them no, stop it. You can't steal things from people. Give them back their property. Says nothing, and then it gets stolen. It's like, come on, man.
アイノは自分の幼馴染たちと離れてカチャカチャ車
So it's just like, yeah, maybe they were rushed. Who knows? But it is a logical inconsistency, and with a relatively easy fix. But it's just like they wanted to make sure, like we make sure we. Oh, another screenshot.
他にも理由があると思うのです
It's like they wanted us to get into an argument with them, but it's like, and you could argue, you could say like, oh, well, it's because we got into an argument that the sentry bots were able to steal the thing. It's like, well, no, like there were a ton of sentry bots. Like it could have just been as easy as Llama saying, hey, give Aino back her device, and then we started we could start walking towards the warehouse where it's stored, and the sentry bots, by the time we get there, the sentry bots are leaving with it, right? Like super easy, like makes total sense. Like yeah, sure, like they were told to give it back to us, and before we could get it back, it was stolen. Like fine. It just doesn't make sense. Super easy fix. It is crazy though, the fact that she's able to use that core to make an Effa, because like that's like a core from the dragon people, and it's like how the hell do you like manage to get that like to work?
特殊な出自だからといって私が工房の中で特別扱いされていることはありません原因を分析おそらくアイノは天才の道を長く
It's also kind of weird too, because like realistically this shouldn't work, right? Because wasn't the whole point of dragon technology is like pretty much all the shit was like phlogiston, so like this core should be like using like phlogiston like stuff. Oh, I mean, they're usually not this bad. This was a lot of inconsistencies at once. There's obviously like it's easy for stuff to fall through the cracks. Like it happens, I get that. But like this was a lot of problems back to back to back to back. And it's just like, wow. So like quest 2 had a problem, quest 1 had a problem, quest 3 had a problem. Like they all had kind of problems. And usually they haven't, I don't think. Although who knows, maybe they got pooped. Maybe they got tired. Because like this was Nod-Krai's introduction. So it could be that because they had so much shit going on, just getting Nod-Krai ready, that the story writers for and writing the story for the main event, that they just didn't have like as much tender love and care for this. But typically their events like it's not like everything has to be like it's not like everything has to make sense, but you just can't be super logically inconsistent, right? Things can happen stupidly if you write like so like you could have Aino get tricked because she's naive. You could have that. You could have silly things, and you could have an Effa like miss something because she's not programmed to like recognize something. Like there's lots of ways you can be creative and get around these things. Like hell, even me just spitballing is able to come up with some answers for like how you could have told the story slightly differently. But it kind of gets just weird because it's like the problem is that like it feels like they're trying to tell specific things. Like they wanted that fight to happen, and it's like. I have no clue why. They were like, yeah, we have to fight the Frostmoon Scions for some reason. And because only when we're fighting the Frostmoon Scions could the warehouse possibly get stolen during that time. It's like, well, you don't really need to do that, but it's like they kind of forced it in. And it's like, well, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, because like Llama is just literally watching her Frostmoon Scions attack a child. Because like we have to be Aino. Like when we fight those two, we don't get our entire party. We only got Aino to fight with. So we had Llama watching her Frostmoon Scions, 2 of them, try to beat up a child, and says nothing. It's like, what? Like, why? That makes no fucking sense. So, yeah. But, I mean, it doesn't happen that much. It doesn't happen that often. And there's some things I like don't make sense too. Like, Inefa doesn't really make sense because most dragon technology should be like using like phlogiston circuits. So how like how do you get her core to interact with the rest of the machinery when like you're not using phlogiston, I don't think, for the rest of the machinery because you're from Nod-Krai and phlogiston only exists in that land. So how is Inepha being used? Like how is Inepha's core able to connect with the body? And well, whatever. I don't know. I know it could just be a genius. Maybe there are some elements of phlogiston that under electric currents maybe do stuff and it allows the connection.
これが私の考えるアイノとロボットの関
なるほどな。
だからアイノにとってはカンカン甘さ控えめが周りを脅かす力をカンカン甘さ控えめは攻防の一員として迎え
Oh yeah, and that was the other logical. So basically, Inepha was talking about how they had the security cameras. They had the security cameras, and they're like, oh yeah, like that's how they were able to find that one dude, is because like, oh yeah, we looked at the security cam, like we found the broken remnants of security bots, because we keep the place under surveillance. Aino was able to recover some of the data, which was able to find you out. It's like, well, first of all, how did you not know that your security bots were being taken offline right away? Like that should have been, you should have something in place for that. But if you have that much security and you have the entire lab under surveillance, why do you not have trackers in all your robots? Like, you clearly care about your robots and you don't want them to get stolen, so you put up all the security cameras, but then why wouldn't you also place trackers in every single one of your robots? Like, the main reason why this was so hard to find, or the main reason why these quest line took so long was because we didn't know where the robot was, and we had to use the black market to let us know that the robot was in the Frostmoon Scions, and then we saw it got stolen from the Frostmoon Scions, and then we didn't know where it was from there. And it's just like, well, if you care so much, if you cared enough to put cameras all over your laboratory, then why didn't you care enough to put trackers in them as well?
おいらも納得だぞ。アイノみたいなやつがなんでナドクライに残ってるのか不思議だよな。
So like stuff like that. So when you have like multiple things happening back to back to back to back, it does just kind of, it makes it more noticeable. Like a one-off happens, right? Shit happens. You know, and then like I assume like there's a ton of writers in Genshin. I assume MiHoYo has a lot of writers. Like, so maybe not all writers are made the same. So maybe some writers are just not good at this type of stuff. So like maybe yeah, it's like the quest you come across. It's like, oh whoops, it was just this one writer. He's not really good at coming up with like creative ways, you know, stuff like that. But like, and so it might have just been like one or two writers who focused on this quest. And maybe they're the writer that just has the most inconsistencies. And but I mean, as I said, like despite all these things, generally I liked the story. The story for the quest was interesting. I did enjoy it. I had fun. And at the end of the day, that's what you're supposed to. You know, was it fun? Yes, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Even if I nitpick and I find little, you know, things wrong here and there, you know, overall I still enjoy it. Because like it also doesn't really matter, right? Like this is a little random event, who gives a shit? But like, and typically for their main story, they don't really have problems with it. I've rarely ever come across an instance in their main story, in their Archon quest or the story quest, where they're just like, where characters act out of character or act stupid or stuff like that. Rarely does that happen. And so like that's what matters. And that's kind of what like why Wuthering Waves drew me away, is because like Wuthering Waves had like logical inconsistencies in pretty much like every quest they did. Especially, well, not really especially, but including story quests and character quests. And just like that really makes it hard for you to like analyze the story and get a feel for how the world works when they're like, when they tell a story and they contradict themselves within the story. And you're just like, well, you said this, and now you're saying this. Like, which quest is right? Like, whereas Genshin doesn't have that problem. Like, I've rarely ever seen them. Well, actually, there is one thing that does seem like a contradiction that happened in the interlude, which contradicts the first cutscene. So, like in a first cutscene of Genshin, it's the two of us, you and your twin, flying over Teyvat, coming across Asmodee, and Asmodee fights us, and then traps your twin, traps your blast, and you know, traps you. And then you wake up on the shores of Mondstadt, not knowing what you were. And that's how it kind of was. So it was always kind of like figuring out what happened. And then when you find out your twin had gotten out and was chilling in Conria, you're like, okay, well, I guess maybe the two of us were flying over Teyvat over 500 years ago, and our twin was able to escape Asmodee's clutches. Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing, though. It's like, it's a smaller team, but like, how many writers, though? Like, it's not like sure, Genshin it has a bigger team, presumably. But like, you don't need that many things. Like, and I'm not saying like, I'm not saying like they can't be like super consistent. Like, I'm saying like literally within the same quest, they contradict themselves. Like, that's terrible. I have a really good example, and I even posted it on Twitter a while ago when I first came across it. It was in Charlotte's character quest. Basically, in Charlotte's character quest, something was stolen, and we go to a vault, and we find out, oh, okay, well, here's logs of it being stolen. Oh, and it was stolen by this guy. Okay, well, this guy has a port. He must have hidden the device at that port because it's way too gainly. It's way too big. It would be impossible to hide anywhere. Like, he had to have put it on his port because that's the only place he could have put it with no one noticing it and be able to sell it. Then at the end of that very same quest, Charlotte gets it, and it literally fits in the palm of her hand. She has her palm upwards, and it's just resting on her palm. The device that the guy could only have possibly stored on his pier, because of how huge and difficult to hide it would be, fits on the palm of her hand. Like, it makes no sense. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is within the same quest. It's like, how do you not get that? And then there's especially with Rinasita. Like, Rinasita talks about how back in the day there was the people who worshipped the Threnodian, the people who worshipped the Sentinel. The Sentinel and the Threnodian fought, and when the Sentinel got wounded, the blood spilled caused the first Black Wave or whatever. And and the way they talk about it, it's like the Black Wave, it happened ages ago. And so we come across those stained glass windows, and it's like the stained glass windows, and basically, once we were able to beat back the Black Wave, that's when the Order formed, right? That's when the Order was created. And I'm like, okay, well, that had to have been hundreds of years ago. But then they talk about the Black Wave like it happened 20 years ago. And they talk about like how the Order is trying to hide their origin and like bury the stuff. It's like, dude, it's 20 years ago. People were alive back then. Why are you trying to change your history when people were literally alive 20 years ago? This is not like 100 years ago when everyone who was alive at the time is dead. This was 20 years ago. Like, so it makes no sense. But then they make it, so I'm like, well, maybe there are two Black Waves, because also they talk about, like, there was when the Threnodian took over the Sentinel, and that caused the second one, and I thought the second one was 20 years ago. But, like, it's so inconsistent. It's like, when that first Black Wave happened, because lots of references happen and talk about it as if it was like way, way, way long time ago. In fact, these stained glass windows we see were in these ruins, in this ruined building. We come across it. That's not a building. That's not natural ruin for 20 years, right? So it's like, yeah. And this is like the main fucking story. So it's like the inconsistencies about the timeline of when the Black Wave happened and like when the Order formed. Like, how could the Order be that powerful? How could they be so powerful that they have a stranglehold on like the entire city and the entire country when it just was created 20 years ago? Like, it makes no sense. So many things make no sense about the setting of their own world. It's, yeah. So basically, after that, I think I got to 2.3, and then I stopped. I'm just like, dude, I just can't do this. This makes no fucking sense. Like, they just keep contradicting themselves. It's just, I'm spending so much time in it, and so I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm already playing Genshin. Like, if I want a story that at least makes logical sense, like, at least has and the way they treat their story in general is always like Genshin had that trailer video when the game came out. I don't know if you ever saw that, but it was the one that like literally said like every country we would go to in the future, and even showed splash art of like the characters. So like when the game came out, we knew we were going to go to Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru, Fontaine, Natlan, Snezhnaya, and Conria. Those are the chapters they listed out. And they even showed splash art. We saw splash art of Ayaka. We saw splash art of Ian-san. We saw Linny and Lynette. We saw... for Snezhnaya, I think they just showed the Fatui. But like they showed all the stuff. Like, so we saw Ian-san like 4 years before she ever even appeared in the game from that video. So like clearly they had a general outline of what's going on with the plot. But like Wuthering Waves, I never got that idea. Like it always felt like they write just one patch ahead of time. They never do any foreshadowing because they literally don't know what's going to happen. Like they have no clue where it's going to go, so they can't write stuff in the background. They can't write stuff to anticipate that. Like because like when we were doing the Black Shores. So like in the Black Shores, the Shorekeeper even tells us, it's like, hey, you're going to go to lots of places. You're going to go to Jinzo. You're going to go to Rinasida and all sorts of other countries. Like they can't even name the other places we're going to go to in the game because they haven't thought that far ahead. And this was like the patch right before, and this was like Black Shores, which was the patch right before Rinasida. So the only reason they even knew the name Rinasida is because they were going to do it in the next patch. Like they just do not think ahead whatsoever. And so it kind of just makes a not super interesting story because it feels like, I mean, and if you're still playing the game, I mean, you can definitely tell that like basically once the characters and their story are done, you just never see them again. Like, when's the last time you see Jinzo characters? They just never fucking appear. In fact, I mean, I was surprised when they were introducing a new 5-star from Jinzo. I'm like, are we actually going to go, are they going to take us back to Jinzo, or is it just going to be some random dude from Jinzo who appears in Rinasida, So I'm curious. Yeah, and you could argue like Genshin does it to some degree, right? Like it's not like we don't see Mondstadt characters that frequently, but like Genshin does a pretty good job at bringing them back, right? Like in year 1, we had the Windbloom Festival where we went back to Mondstadt and interacted with them every single year. Or they have the Lunar New Year event, the Chinese New Year thing, where we go back to Liyue. So it's like we meet the Liyue characters every year. We have Mondstadt festivals. We went to Inazuma for their like ghost festivals and stuff. So like we have events that take us back and meet old characters, and they with a lot of old characters. In fact, I actually saw someone compiled an image where it was basically a tier list, but they basically made a tier list in patches, and they were like, this is the last patch that this character was seen in game. And obviously a lot of the Rinasida ones were still up near the top, but like there were some Rinasida characters that you haven't seen since 2.0. Yeah. And like they just have random characters pop up. So like they do keep coming up and show up in game. And they showed like pretty much all the Jinzo characters have not been seen since Rinasida came up. And they even had a tier list called LOL for Danjin. Because Danjin has never appeared in game. Like, it's like so silly. Whereas like you have a character you just literally never have in game. And like some characters like Verena was like only seen in 1.0 and is never seen again in game. And it's just like, and they do reference them on sometimes, but like, it just feels like, man, like that's not how, like, especially for a gacha game where like you're paying for these characters because you like these characters to like basically just like, oh, we use these characters and then you never see them again. Like, yeah, we used them up. They didn't appear again. It's like, they just move on to the next thing. It doesn't feel good. Like, obviously it feels fine. Like playing, you might like the character, might like playing with the character, that's fine. But like, people would like to see them in stuff and brought back, and like their events like bring one character back. Where like I think I saw Calcharo popped up relatively recently because I think there was probably an event and during one of the patches where Calcharo appeared, and you're like, okay, but like, if you're going to have like characters like that, then you should have multiple characters like that. Like maybe Calcharo has some friends, maybe bring some Jinzo friends with him for this event. But it's like if they have an event to reintroduce you to some characters, like it's just one character instead of like bringing in a group, which is like that's the way you should. Like so many characters just get introduced that patch and just never seen again, which is like not great. And again, it's bad storytelling. It's because the writers can't write a story to include them, can't think of a way to include them, so they don't. Which, I mean, I don't know. You could argue, is it better for that to happen, or would you rather them try and fail? Like, would you rather have them try to include them and suck at it, or would you rather do them not even try? It's a tough one. Tough one. Obviously, we'd love it if they could succeed, but if they would only fail if they tried, then I could understand saying, yeah, fuck it, don't bother. But so yeah, basically after all that, and then just doing the exploration, they had a pretty bad dichotomy of how to do. Like Genshin is not a super challenging game. So all the stuff that you do in Genshin for exploration is not super challenging, and so it's relatively relaxing because exploration content should be relaxing. Like that's the point of exploration content. And the problem is that Wuthering Waves tries to mix Wuthering Wave combat is what Wuthering Waves does best. Wuthering Waves does its combat best, and I would say its combat is far more challenging than Genshin, which is fine. But challenging combat does not really work with exploration content because challenging combat requires you to focus, and exploration content is supposed to be there for you to relax. So the fact that they keep trying to bring in their challenging content into their exploration content, I don't think is good, because basically it just makes people who don't want to do the challenging combat, it forces them to do it, even though they don't want to. And generally, forcing players to do things they don't want to do is not a good idea, because it ruins their experience and drives them away at a certain point. But yeah, I mean, and it's not really why I stopped specifically, but yeah, I mean, it was stuff like that. Like exploring just was kind of a little too annoying, and there's just so much to do, and it takes a while. And Genshin takes a while too, and so having to do two games where there's like a lot of stuff like that, and Genshin's not even the only gacha game I play. I also play Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail, and I really like Honkai Star Rail. That's my favorite of MiHoYo games. But Zenless is pretty fun too, and they're not super like they don't take up a ton of time, so they're fine to play off. But Genshin does take up a ton of time, so basically that's why I was like, well, so I was playing Wuthering Waves on top of it, and like I can't. It just takes too much time to do four things at once. So I was like, well, if I have to stop doing one of them, even though Wuthering Waves has some exploration content, which is kind of fun to do, just like Genshin does everything better than Wuthering Waves, with the exception of combat. Its start is rough. I will give you that. Like, I actually did quit Zenless Zone Zero at the beginning. Like, I played for like a month, and then I like stopped playing for like a month or two. And then once Jane Doe was announced, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot again. And I came back, and Jane Doe made the game much better. Like, I also got the stun robot, the little girl police robot, who's a really good stunner. So like that was the tough thing, is that like back in the day, like the units you had available were not like great, and the 4-stars were kind of rough, and so the playing it was a little rough because it didn't flow super well. It felt like there were these like gaps where you're just like, I'm just button mashing, and flow of combat was kind of jittery and shit, and kind of shit. But now they've introduced so many other characters that like feel like they play well. Like Jane Doe's playstyle feels really fun to play. Miyabi's playstyle feels really fun to play. Alice just came out. I like how Alice plays too. So like, and then with other characters, they fit together. You have more options with teams and stuff like that. So you definitely get a lot more options. But like the initial standard 5-star, the initial standard S-rank characters are kind of rough and not super great. Like Rina's not really that amazing. She's kind of has a weird kind of playstyle, somewhat. Lycon is okay. Like basically, like Lycon, like, and you really kind of need stun units. So like, you really want Lycon or Goleta, but they're standard banners, so you can't like, choose for the most part. Even though they did actually give you a picker on their anniversary, but so it's like, but like Rina and Grace were not really that good. And who's the other 5 S rank? Oh yeah, and Soldier 11. So I think those 5 were the standard banner 5-stars, and 3 of them were not great. I mean, so people like Soldier 11's playstyle. I don't particularly care for it, so maybe maybe she's not as bad as I'm making it out to. Maybe she's not as bad as I think, but she just never fit well. I just didn't like how she played. So like 3 of the 5, standard banners kind of suck, which makes it rough. But now that I have characters that I like the playstyle of, I find Zenless Zone Zero much more enjoyable. Plus, the story has gotten better. Like the story in the beginning was rough. It's super slow, and it's a really slow start. And I would say the prologue and the first 2 chapters are kind of slow. And also, the main story had to go into like the televisions and shit and do like the main story through the televisions. They basically realized, oh, no one likes this. We're going to stop. So basically, by the time I came back in, so like the game came out in like June or something, June or July, and basically I think by like October, November, they were realizing people don't really like this television bullshit, so we're just going to stop making the story quests happen as part of some television exploration minigame. And so basically, since they did that, it's been much better. So there are a lot more characters. There's a lot more like party comps that work. That you can find like characters you like the play style of, characters that are like meta and fun to play. Like there's lots of stuff like that. A lot of interplay, and also like they had this whole like thing where it's like your characters get a bonus if they're with the right team members, and the restrictions on team members for the first few characters, for like the initial characters, was pretty stringent because like if you wanted to have like Ellen, the only person, like I had Sokaku and I had Ellen, and like, okay, cool, they're both ice, so that works out well. But then you either have to find another ice unit, which Lycon would work perfectly, but Lycon was a standard banner 5-star, so if you don't have him, you're fucked. And so the only thing you could match other than Element was faction, and at the time, Sokaku had no other people in her faction, and Ellen only had one other person, Corinne, who was a physical attacker. So you basically had 2 attackers and a support, so it just made for a really shitty party comp. And so basically, they've loosened up some of the restrictions on this shit, and they've added more characters, so there's more people of the same faction and more people of the same element that you can make it work a little better now. So it definitely feels better to play, but it definitely won't help, I don't think, in this story, because I think they haven't changed the initial story. But if you can get past the first 2 chapters, it definitely does pick up. Maybe the first 3 too. Honestly, realistically, like it's only the end of the first season. Like at the end of it's like chapter 4 or 5. That's when it really starts to get interesting. And then, basically, it's been pretty interesting this since we've if they've started what they've called season 2 of the story. It's gotten pretty interesting then. So I think they've gotten better. But yeah, it's kind of a rough start. I don't think it's as bad as Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves' initial story was absolutely terrible. The pacing was absolutely shit, and they did not explain whatsoever enough of the shit that was going on. They're just like, here's 5 factions that all vie for you because you're awesome. You're the perfect person. Everyone wants you. Everyone wants to be you. You have so much power, but now you're getting slapped around like a little bitch because you have to. It's like, dude, like everyone's gunning for us because we're so fucking powerful and we're godlike, but then we just keep getting our asses handed to us, or we don't resolve shit. It's like, yeah, bad storytelling. At least Zenless Zone Zero starts you at normal, but yeah, it's definitely building a little more. But unfortunately, that does not help for people who like want to get into it, because it's like, yeah, you still have to do that initial story. I mean, let's see. Like right now, I'd say, unfortunately, I would say last patch was probably the best patch to start, simply because of Alice. Alice is such an easy fucking character to play. She is so easy, and she can start out pretty strong. And I don't know, for some reason, Anomaly Mastery characters are just so fucking powerful. It's like, yeah, the attack ones are supposed to be like really good attackers, but Anomaly Mastery ones end up being like the best fucking strongest, easiest to play agents ever. But But yeah, so Alice was a really good choice. Like she was her banner was the last patch. This current patch we have Seed. Seed's actually a pretty good choice because she's relatively easy to use and play, and she's an attack unit that works well with other attackers. So she definitely acts as a pretty good pair with other attacking units. So she actually works well with a lot of the early characters that's she's pretty good to use. But then next patch is Orphe, and Orphe's another weirdly enough attack. I thought she was going to be a support, but she's supposedly an attack unit. Who I don't know. Her playstyle is kind of weird, and she seems more off-field support, but she seems like worse than Seed to do so. Or at least Seed feels fun to play and also provides off-field support and buffs, whereas Orphe mostly seems to be like doing damaging off-field support. Maybe I don't know. I haven't really checked her kit. But then yeah, there's constantly new characters, and there's this weird squid mommy who's going to show up. Oh yeah, they have a Ganyu too. There's going to be another goat character. There's going to be a goat character in Zenless Sun Zero who has blue hair and tiny little horns. So people were likening her to Ganyu. Well, she doesn't look that much like her, but they do have the horns. But I don't know. I would kind of recommend it. Like I went back and I got Jane Doe, and she was pretty fun. It depends. Like Eula is on my main character. Like Eula's on my profile. My profile avatar is Eula, so I really do like Eula because she is incredibly hot. But if we're talking about like, I don't know. Like I have a few characters that I really like. So like I obviously really like Eula. I like Ganyu. I really like Raiden. Raiden's also really hot. I like long hair. It's pretty hot too. And oh yeah, Shilinen is insanely hot. I think out of all of them, I find Shilinen the hottest. And she's also the most useful. Well, not the most useful, but she also is incredibly useful with her resistance, shred, and healing.
もし他のやつがアイノの技術を持ってたら、きっと他のやつらを脅すためにロボットを強い兵器に改造して利用してたよな。
But yeah, I mean, I like Eula, and I kind of wish she had more uses. Ganyu is incredibly helpful, though. I still actively use Ganyu. And like Mafika is also, really good as well, and Chaska is super hot.
私はナドクライで多くの人と接触してきました。しかしほとんどはパイモンさんを驚かせているアイノこそナドクライ人の定義にもっ
お菓子ができたの？
ええ、切り分けるの。
クリームが一番たくさんついてるやつがいい。
はい、皆さん。
Yeah. But yeah, Chaska is insanely hot too. I also like, I mean, Llama is a nice new one. He's also pretty attractive. Skirk is pretty hot as well. Oh yeah, Yolan is also hot. I do like Navia. I thought it'd be funny if they gave Navia one of the skins, to give her the crown and the mustache. Yeah, this one. If they gave us a skin to give us the mustache and crown like she was in that summer event, that would be pretty funny. But yeah, like I think Jillinan is the hottest. I mean, I still do. I actually have been exploring Nod-Krai with her. So I've been using this team to basically explore Nod-Krai. Natlan, I would actually use. I would use a Milani Jillinan team so that I could have the traversal, because there's enough hot things to go up that having Jillinan was incredibly helpful. But yeah, Skirk is pretty hot. I really like Jean. I've always liked Jean. She's very pretty. Navia's hot. Yeah, Eula's dancing was super hot too. And then Ganyu. I really like Ganyu's new outfit too. And Ayaka's too. Ayaka's more cute than anything, but yeah, Raiden's super hot. I got Raiden's Echo too. Her Mission Echo, so she has a little trail when she walks. And of course, Arlecchino and Dea are also super hot too. And I'm working on getting Llama up there. I do like the pointy ears. The pointy ears look cute. And pointy other things as well. If I had to say 4 stars, I think Lynette is my favorite 4-star because she's so cute and adorable. I like her kudere nature, and I like the cat ears too. I don't think there's a 4-star I like better than that. Obviously, Rosaria is pretty hot too, but she got an unfortunate nerf. Such a shame. But yeah, this was my Natland exploration team. Getting used to the Dea Emily combination to keep my Burgeon up so Milani can get her vaporizes. And both Milani and Shilinen can help for traversal. But here in Nod-Krai, there's enough good teleport spots where I don't really need to go up mountains that much. Or they're also at angles where, as long as I use her skill and just push it into them, I can go up the mountain. Like, I can still go up the mountain even without a traversal skill. Okay, there we go. With a week left to do, I finished all of that, so now I can just focus on the exploration. Because I still haven't been like super focused on it, but ooh, there's a llama thing up. I still haven't like maxed out my exploration yet. Mostly the stuff in this area. But I don't know if I'm going to go over here first and then move over there. Or, we'll see. But there's a llama quest. Let's go pick that up. Like, my Chaska is pretty well built. Because she has 105% crit rate once her buff goes up. Which, yeah, for some reason, she kept getting crit rate rolls. I'm like, I don't need that much crit rate. Give me more crit damage. But for some reason, every one of these pieces of stuff kept getting crit rate rolls instead of crit damage. Even stuff that had crit damage on it, it's like, god damn it. Take those crit rate rolls and put them in crit damage, please. I mean, I guess that's fine for this one. But yeah, more Elemental Mastery would have been nicer on that one. But whatever. It is what it is. But I have my Raiden has almost 300% energy regen. That's pretty cool. I didn't get her because I was worried about plunge attacks because I know about Zhao, and I always hated Zhao because using Zhao is so annoying. So I never really liked plunge attacks. And So when I saw that she was about a plunge attacks, but then using her in some of the events, I'm like, oh, actually, her playstyle isn't that bad. I could have used her. Not terrible. I mean, my Gene's pretty good. 50% crit rate, 160 crit damage, with almost 100% physical damage bonus. I need to build her better, too. She doesn't have her proper artifact set. I mean, I guess that's fine for considering her buff. Who's the best build? That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's whatever. I have a lot of characters, and I'm not like super concerned about that. I mean, I guess maybe Milani's pretty good. Because with that buff, I'll have 83% crit rate with 241 crit damage and 37,000 HP. That's pretty well built. Arlecchino's pretty good too. She has a correct set? No, she doesn't have the correct set. Yeah, some of them don't have the right set because of how annoying it is to get it. I got my Noelle up to like 5,000 attack, which is pretty good. Because my Noelle has 3,200 defense, and I was in a all-Geo party, and with her burst active, or their shield and burst active, and after doing, because she has the white blind, after a few hits of her attack to get all the stacks, she had like 5,200 or 5,400 attack as well. She was pretty stacked. But like, I'm not super into like build. I mean, I do build them, like, but like at a certain point in time, like I have other games I'm playing, so I just never end up like putting that much time into it. Like I should. I have enough fragile resin where I could. Like I have 108 fragile resin, so I could easily farm stuff, and I could easily farm Arlecchino her correct set. But like, artifact farming is just is soul numbing because of how many times you get fucked. Oh, there's something to say. What do you want to say, bud? Yeah, I mean, if they had better systems in place, like if it was more like Honkai Star Rail, because like Honkai Star Rail, it's like not only because like I do definitely need relic experience, so like farming relics, so farming artifacts in here is not the worst because I can still sacrifice it to get experience, and I don't have everyone like max level stuff, and it's hard to like roll for artifacts because I just don't have the experience to do it. So realistically, farming is still fine, so I get enough experience to do that. But like, the cool thing is that like in Honkai Star Rail, if I farm, I can turn those 5-star artifacts into instead of salvaging them for experience, I could salvage them into parts, which I can then use to trade for a specific piece. So like I could be like, oh, like you don't get that many. I think you need like 20 of them. So you need to get 5 or 20 5-star relics, and then you can sacrifice them to get enough pieces to get one craft, like one man-made one. So it definitely is not the most efficient, but you can select which set and which piece of the set you want. So if you're like, oh, I want this set, but I also only want the headpiece, you could just focus on that. So like that's the cool thing, and also it's easier to farm too. The Genshin forces you to like try and actually work hard at it, and then only to fuck you over. And you're just like, aw. And like, you have to sacrifice them into the crafting thing, and the crafting thing only allows you to pick the set and not the piece. So it's like, so not only did you get fucked enough that you want to sacrifice them and craft it, but you could still get fucked on the craft. because you might not even get the piece you want. And that's saying nothing about the main stat and substat. So it's like, at least with Honkai Star Rail, you can just craft the exact set and piece you want, and all you have to worry about is main stat and substats. Like that's it. That's it. So it's easier to farm, and then it's easier to, basically target farm. Whereas here, it's just like, it takes time, you have to keep doing it. I do like how you can now directly consume fragile resin and directly consume double resin for artifacts, and your condensed resin is basically gets you 3 rolls. So I do like how they've made it easier in that way to keep doing it. But realistically, I kind of wish they had more Honkai Star Rail systems in place afterwards to kind of help act as a soft pity for getting the artifacts you want, so that you could craft something that you specifically want. And then Honkai Star Rail also gives you pieces every single week, or not every single week, but you get pieces every single patch, where it allows you to say, hey, I can, when I'm crafting my headpiece for this one set, I can actually just also expend one of these self-molding resin and pick my main stat. So it's then all you have to worry about for that is your substats. And you can even consume more self-molding resin to guarantee the 2 main substats, which is kind of like how they've done it. They've had the potions now, and you're like, okay, you can consume more potions. But the problem is you just don't get potions that frequently. You don't get them frequently enough for how much they cost. Whereas, and what artifact you're crafting consumes different number of potions, which is stupid. Because in Honkai Star Rail, it's no. You want to decide the main stat, that costs 1. You want to decide 1 substat, that costs 2 total. The main stat and the substat. And if you want to decide the main stat and 2 substats, that's 5, I think. Or maybe it's 1, 3, 5. But either way, it's set. No matter what piece you want, no matter what set you want, it's always the same thing. And generally it's just easier to farm anyway. So it's yeah, I kind of wish they would do more shit like that, but I understand it's kind of hard. It's they were able to design Honkai Star Rail relics knowing what the pain points were for players in Genshin. They're like, oh, here's what the players in Genshin are complaining about. We can design the system right from the get-go to implement it better or in a different way. And they did. And it seems like they are trying to incorporate some of the good stuff from Honkai Star Rail into Genshin, but it's a shame they're not taking them directly. I kind of wish they would just introduce self-molding resin. And Honkai Star Rail had the reroll dice too, where you could reroll all your substat rolls, which Genshin now added with the feather. But again, it seems like you get the feather less frequently. And yeah, just generally it seems like the resources are far more scarce in Genshin, and which makes it even more frustrating considering how much more annoying it is to farm artifacts in the first place. The Halama is super hot.
謝ることはない。眠っていたのではなく、それにそなたの足音が小さい動物は人間より多くのものを感知できる。そなたのことをとても友好的な人物だと認めておる。実は先ほど寝たふりをしてそなたを試してみようとこの子が言ってきたのだ。ちょっかい出してこないか見てみようじゃないかとな。私はそなたのことを貧困法制な人物だと信じておる。しかしこうも平穏だと私もまだ見ぬ出来事許してくれるだろうか。怒らせてしまったようだな。どうしたものか。お詫びにお前の私の手は普通の人間と何も変わらぬ。撫でたところで特に癒されることはなかろう。
I mean, I don't know. I could think of something I could need that would be pretty pleasant.
しかし、そなたに英月地の祝福を授け
We're
ること
looking
が
right
で
at it.
きる。そなたの前途に幸多からんことを。そういえば、そうか。
And like these anecdotes too, like are a really cool way to like bring back old characters. Like I kind of wish they would have more hangout events because like the hangout events were a pretty cool way where we could like get to know some of the 4 stars a little more because like they're 4 stars, so like typically they're not as involved. But like yeah, it gets you. And there just hasn't been a hangout event in the longest time. And these anecdotes are nice, but they're not the same as a hangout event. But I do like the fact that they are doing these because it's a nice, easy way for like us for like to remind you of characters you've met before and maybe progress their story and their life a little bit more. Kind of, I do like how Genshin has kind of like managed to kind of reincorporate old characters and old areas to be like, oh yeah, here's an event in Inazuma, and we're gonna meet a bunch of Inazuma buddies. Here you're gonna go back to Fontaine and like meet with them and shit like that. So it's like I do like how they do incorporate old areas and characters to like make things feel fresh and kind of remind you who they are because it makes it feel like you're just more a part of the world.
おかげさまで順調だ。ちょうど蒼月の子が今日、新鮮な果物をまたたくさん手に入れたのだ。そなたも食べるといい。その子は私たちから離れ、そなたの前途に幸多からん。
Okay, let's see. Okay, so there's a bunch of world quests. I guess this one's close by. Oh wait, maybe I should do this. Actually, let's do this first because this unlocks something. Make Traveler's Tales make a wish. Let me just get this out of the way first. Just to make sure I unlock everything.
そんなところじゃ。軽く掃除すればよい。おや、わっぱよ、奇遇じゃな。おや、また面倒ごとを押し付けてきそうだ。とでも考えてそうな顔をしておるな。安心するがよい。たった今社の改修を終えて新しい業務を始めようとしていたところ、まだ公表しておらぬのに汝がほれ、わらわの横にある賽銭箱が見える。それは違う。おみくじは運勢を目を閉じて願いを心に思う。もちろん。じゃがわらわは役立たずの宮司じゃからの。せいぜい人間関係の面で何か策を出してやることくらいしかできぬ。それが汝の願いである。これはおみくじを書く願い事をそこに書いてからお祈りするともっと効果があるかもしれぬ。おや、わらわが嘘をついたことがあったか。早く願い事をしに行くがよい。願いを書いたみくじ短冊を絵馬に貼り付け、これで完了。心がこもっておる。さあ、引き続き頑張るがよい。もしかしたら汝が会いたい人は
What does this do? Like, is this more story? Or is this like... Oh yeah, Nefer's pretty hot too. Let's... Yeah, some Nefer. Oh, I see. Okay, I know what it is. This is how you can trigger specific anecdotes, I think, probably. So, because it's seemingly random when I go to these locations. It's like, uh, yeah, because like there's a Flynn's appear an echo for Flynn's. It seems that that's probably a way that I could like, if I want a specific anecdote, that's probably how I would do it. That's my guess. But we'll see. If it never appears tomorrow, then I'll be right. There's, yeah, for the, it's for the anecdote, right, though? Because I know that you get the stamps for meeting them, but I don't know if, but you can see them multiple times.
さあ平穏調理
But they also have this little story too. Is it? This book. Yeah, oh yeah, it even shows the wish. So yeah, this is 100% that. So I guess, I assume I can't wish on someone who's maxed out all their stuff, but so maybe I should always wish on one person. Like maybe I should just keep doing Nefer and see if she disappears from the choosable list. I assume that once I've exhausted all her like her stuff, she'll disappear.
オーケストラの新作アルバム出てないかしらよっこの同点も 同点についてのご質問で
Yeah, and that's the thing is I need to farm artifacts for llama. Honestly, I think I did farm a little bit. might as well farm a little bit more. Because I have max whatchamacallits. Nah. I did it once. I'm just like, so I just don't care.
よっはびこりなさいソーランの憩いせはさ見逃さないでねほっほっ
皆のために祈ろう。
ほっほっ覚えたわよ知識をあなたにも
迷える者。
頑張るよはっあれ狂いなさいふっせいはっやったおっふっ
行け。
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that. But it's just so much extra effort, and I'm just like, I don't even do Spiral Abyss because I'm just like, I just feel like it's too much effort for me. And Spiral Abyss is not much effort at all. Oh, hey, wrong set though, I think. Actually, wait, no, this is the right set. Yeah, this is the right set. Oh, cool, Elemental Mastery Sands. Now the substats are absolute dog shit, but I mean, Jesus Christ, literally every flat stat you could have. Great, awesome. Oh, whoops, I didn't want to be this team. No, I am in a... Oops, I didn't want to do this. Can I swap teams? I can. Okay, let's marvelously come back in. Actually, I'm a little curious about trying this scene.
紅に染まって散りなさい次
疑似用か異形を見届けよ
任せてくださいメイドの礼儀に気をつけます
Yeah, 5,500 attack for her with her burst active and after a few stacks of her shit. It's pretty good.
無駄な努力をやめたらさようならや
創世の術今こそ誕生の時
絹のような弱さねその命いただいたわ取るに足らないわ
手伝って
酒と
騎士の風格に気をつけます
無駄な努力をやめたら降参しなさい
Jesus Christ. All flat stats and Elemental Mastery. Which Elemental Mastery is fine, but Jesus Christ. It's just so soul-crushing to see all that kind of shit. join my Navia team.
紅に染まって散りなさい。気をつけなさい。それ堂々不意打ち。食前に打ち続けて。僕をたたえよ、歌え、僕の名のもと。堂々不意打ち。ガンのように羽ばたく。さあ、ファッション私が提起する。はっ、それ目が出るかしら。道あふれよ。
Wow. What? Absolutely. Defense percent for both of them. What are the fucking odds? Defense percent for all three of them, despite being different. All the wrong sets, which fucking sucks. That's what's so tough about this farming.
食前捕まえた。ふっよ、光り輝くがいい。目も舌も満足させてあげ。で、終わりね。ふっ。はっはっ。
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's why artifact farming just kind of sucks in general. It's because, one, it's super easy to get screwed, obviously. And it always has been. Like, that's just how it always will be. But, like, I think Honkai Star Rail just does it better, where they have a lot more things in place to kind of act as a way to like help us act as soft pity, where it's like, oh, okay, don't worry, if you sacrifice, if you can craft, whatever relic you want of whatever set you want and whatever piece you want. So like you can basically farm the domain for a bunch. You'll get some stuff like the flower and feather. Yeah, that is good. I really, really do like the fact that they added that. So basically, I went through all my old artifacts I was keeping because I had 3 substats. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll save this and roll on it and see. But now I'm just like, oh, okay, well that's crap. I'm just gonna scrap it ahead of time. So I do like that. But yeah, I kind of wish there was just more false protection, where you could just be like being able to craft something on set for a specific set is nice, but like the way they've done it is just not as good as. Oops, wrong way. Not as good as the way they do it in Honkai Star Rail. I kind of wish they just took that entire system wholesale. But yeah, I have my Envisioned Echo for her. She has a little dice floating around behind her. I do like the Envisioned Echoes. That's actually pretty much the only reason I do Imaginary in theaters, because they offer these things. Like, even though I don't do Spiral Abyss or Sticky Onslaught, because it's like, cool, you get some stuff that, like, it's like, meh, whatever. Like, cool, you get some Prima Gems, you get some stuff that's like, yeah, but, like, Prima Gems are nice, but I just don't want to waste my time. My time is worth more than these Prima Gems and the artifacts you get. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that at least with Honkai Star Rail, like, you get self-molding resin all the time. In fact, there's a shop that you can even buy some from, which refreshes every 6 weeks. So it's like there's that, there's the battle pass, there's all sorts of ways to get self-molding resin, and every single month or every single patch, you can trade self-molding resin for reroll dice. So it's like you can use self-molding resin to decide the main stat on any relic you want, and then you can use even more self-molding resin to define the first two substats. Basically, kind of how the potions in this game work. Except Honkai Star Rail had it first, and it doesn't cost as much, or it's consistent. Like you can just do the main stat, and it'll cost you 1. You can decide the first substat will cost you 3. And if it's main stat and the 2 substats, it'll cost you 5. And that's for no matter what piece you want. That's how it is. So it's just a better system in place. Oh, okay, cool. Well, have fun. It was nice chatting with you. Yeah. And like, I think even for this, yeah, so this costs 1, but if I want to define, like, let's say I want, well, yeah, that's the thing. Is these cost 1, but it's like, well, who gives it? Like, who'd ever want to use it for that? Like, the fact that this costs 4, like, they themselves even realize how much you get fucked, because they realize, oh yeah, why is the goblet so much? Well, because there's so many options for the main stat of the goblet. Because there's, yeah, I've never crafted one at all. I've just kept accruing them, because the idea is that, well, I'm always so low on. I've always been really low on relic experience, so I was never able to like level up stuff all the time. So basically, since I need, yeah, and it was like the shitty thing is that they make it cost more potions, and I guess the good thing is that at least for this, if I decide the main stat is Elemental Mastery, and confirm, at least it still is only 4. So that is one benefit, where it's like the cost of 4 is the cost no matter what. And the fact that they are now making it sure that no matter, now when you roll and get the artifact, you're guaranteed to get at least 2 rolls into the affixes you define. That's good. And it still only costs 4. Whereas for Honkai Star Rail, if you decide the main stat, it costs 1. If you decide one substat, it costs 3 total. And if you decide the main and substats, it costs 5. So technically it costs more, but you just get more and more frequently. Yeah, I think that's stupid. I don't think there should be limitations like that. It should be like, if you have the potions, you should be able to make as many as you fucking want. Like, it's like, why artificially restrict you like that? Like, that's just so dumb. Like, it's already kind of annoying. Whereas, like, yeah, Honkai Star Rail doesn't have any sort of restrictions. You get the self-molding resin much easier. Like, the self-molding resin has existed for like the longest time. And substats used to be used to use a different item, but yeah, it just would take forever, and so it was always way too slow. And so I kind of wish they would just do. And then the fact that if you wanted to, and like that's the only way to craft it, or is it the blacksmith, or is it at the? I think no, I think it's at the crafting this one. For these, it's like, oh, okay, you can use 3, but you're just getting a random one of the set. So you're sacrificing relics, and if I wanted to put Gladiator, let's say I only need a Gladiator goblet, right? Or like, let's say whatever the artifact set is. Let's say I only need a goblet. If I put artifacts into this, I can't decide on goblet, right? Yeah, it's rough. I can't, the fact that I can't decide on what piece I want, so like I'm offering relics into this to have a random chance, like to just get a random relic, which is like, well, why the fuck would I do that? Like it's like with Honkai Star Rail, you can just you can scrap your 5-star artifacts to get these like little gold bits, and the gold bits you can then change 100 of them to craft an artifact of the set you want and of the specific piece you want. Now, you have to use self-molding resin if you want to, further decide on the main stat and all that stuff. But if you were like, hey, I've been farming artifacts enough, I have a shitload of this gold bit currency. I could just, I could just craft 10, 10 hats, 10 hats of this set for 1,000 of the bits. You could do that, and try your luck. Because you might get the main stat you want and maybe some good substats. But like for this, it's like you could spend all your artifacts and get not a single bit, like not a single goblet. Like I could put 100 5-star artifacts into this and get not a single goblet. Now the odds, that's obviously against the odds. Like statistically, 1/5 of them should be goblets. But like that's what's so kind of shitty about this. And then I think they don't and the fact that it takes them a while to add new sets. Like so the Nod-Krai sets aren't even on here. Whereas like in Honkai Star Rail, the second a new set comes into existence, you can craft it. In fact, you don't even need to, well actually I think you might need to do the domain once. But like do it once and then you can instantly just craft a full set for yourself if you want. Like so yeah, Honkai Star Rail does it much better. It's not that bad, but it's not that good either. It takes like a patch or two or something before they bring the previous set in. But it's still like, is there a reason not to put it in there immediately? No, not at all. Like, especially because you already have to put artifacts into it to get those pieces. So it's like you have to farm artifacts anyway. Basically, what they're trying to do is like, oh, we don't want people to like pre-farm artifacts and then like roll on that. But it's like the odds of getting anything is still pretty shit. You'll still probably end up needing to farm the domain anyway. So like, there's really no actual reason to artificially restrict you from just redeeming them immediately. So yeah, Honkai Star Rail does it much better. They have been slowly moving stuff that existed in Honkai Star Rail over to this game, like those crafting potions is basically a shittier version of what they have in Honkai Star Rail. The feathers, technically not. I like Honkai Star Rail better, but I've played this game since it came out, so 5 years ago. So I've played this game for 5 years. I've also played Honkai Star Rail since it came out, but Honkai Star Rail is only like 3 years old or something like that. But I like the story and the comedy much better because like Honkai Star Rail is a little more silly. It has a lot more silliness. It has much bigger stakes, a lot of interesting stuff because it's like in space and all that stuff. So it doesn't like take itself too seriously, which I enjoy, and it definitely feels a little more mature and fun. And Genshin is fun too, but like Genshin also has like exploration. Honkai Star Rail doesn't really have much exploration. It's like you have some maps, there are some stuff to do. I mean, if you're going to get into another gacha, Honkai Star Rail is the one to do because it's a turn-based one. So it's actually super, super easy to like farm stuff because you can auto battle it. So once you build your characters and you have a good team, you can just like you can go into like domains and just set auto to on, and your team will just automatically do it. So it's easy to like do other stuff. So it makes it easier to do your daily super quick because you can just spend your resin super quickly. You can farm stuff super easily because you can just like, just set it to auto and not have to pay attention. And the story is actually pretty interesting. So I really like the story. I like turn-based combat in general. And I think the combat is interesting, and the content they add and the battles they add and all that shit is interesting. And I think it feels easier and simpler to farm. That's why, and then and as I said, like there are a lot more systems in place that make it easier to get the exact builds you want as well. So I would definitely recommend it. The music, I mean, Genshin Mihoyo music is always good, but like goddamn, like the second major boss of the story, like so when the game first came out, it was like a prologue chapter, and then there was like the main chapter in Belobog. And when you're fighting the final boss, like the way they've used music for that final boss is insanely good. Yeah, yeah, Mihoyo is really good at music, the music in this game is pretty cool. Very folksy. But yeah, Genshin also does the same thing. And in fact, there was another boss Honkai Star Rail did, which had like different phases of music during different phases of the boss. So it makes a very very cinematic, cool experience because like as you're fighting the boss and all the story elements going on. Yeah. I don't know. The whale was pretty cool. I think the whale was. Can't really remember the music for it, but yeah. I would say like Honkai Star Rail is a really easy game to pick up. There's not like a ton of exploration, so like there are some stuff to find on the map, but it doesn't take that long to do, and you don't necessarily need to do it. So if you just are focusing on the story, like spending your resin, spending your resources every day is very very quick, and the story I think is very interesting. So I would definitely recommend Honkai Star Rail because it is something you can kind of do in the background or while you're not even super paying attention. And I'd say it's a pretty good game. Whereas Genshin is a fun game, and it has action combats if you like that as much, and the exploration content is fun. Like it's fun to wander around and going and exploring and shit. Like I do enjoy that too. And you don't get that in Honkai Star Rail, but I think the story definitely is better in Honkai Star Rail because it's more interesting, compelling, at least for me. And I always like turn-based combat too, so I think we're good. And the fact that it's turn-based means you can kind of take your time and strategize and shit like that. But if you have your team very well built and you're just doing like your dailies, like you need, you need leveling up experience. Cool, you just go do this thing. You can fight rather than do one battle that takes up 10 stamina. You can actually queue up 6 battles back to back. They use up 60 stamina, and then you can set on auto, and you'll just clear it away. And no matter how long it takes. I like the story of Genshin. I think I prefer Star Rail because of the stakes. I think some of this is very shonen jumpy, very people acting not the most logically, and basically I think it was with the most recent game that they're coming out with. That they mentioned kind of like the age ranges of like Genshin is kind of designed for people in their early teens. Honkai Star Rail is kind of designed for people nearing adulthood. I forget what Zenless Zone Zero was, but the new game they're coming out with was designed more for like children, for younger kids younger than 10. So they're like, yeah, we're producing games for a variety of ages. And yeah. I don't know. I like the story. I think it's interesting. I like each country's story. I like the character quest. I found it enjoyable. It's not like super deep or crazy or anything like that, but I have enjoyed it a lot. I liked all the Abyss-related shit that happened in Natlan, because, like, Fontaine was kind of more about the Harbingers, about, Arlecchino and all that. And, we learned a little bit more about the Primordial stuff and about dragons, but, like, the Abyss has always been kind of like a big bad that we've known about for ages. And so Natlan had a lot more Abyss-related stuff. And so I really like that because it's like it did flesh out some of that other shit. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Oh, hey, who's this thing? I see. It creates one of these paths. So I like the fact that they did all this Abyss stuff. Because before, up until that point, because, like, yeah, Sumeru... It definitely did feel that way. Because we were thinking about it being a volcano. And like the first tribe you come across is the breakdancing Children of the Echoes. I did think that was interesting. I don't know. Generally, I didn't really have many expectations. Oh, really? I didn't think it was like Mondstadt at all. I thought it had its own unique vibe. And I liked how they, I like and also don't like it the way they did, the tribal quests. So, like, the reputation, so they changed how reputation used to work, and they're like, oh, we're going to turn these, like, tribe quests. But, like, the problem is that the last of the tribe quest, was basically the character quest for one of the characters. And it was like, oh, okay, well, that's... I mean, it kind of feels like we didn't get a full character quest because of that. Or we didn't get a full tribe quest because, like, yeah, they had to, because... I mean, it was mostly, like, the Children of the Echoes was mostly stone. Rock and stone. And like, big mountains and shit. Like, there was some grassland beyond the stone, but like, it wasn't... It felt more like a savanna, which is kind of like more like Africa. Which is, like, kind of in line with what it's supposed to be. Now, the beach thing didn't really make sense, because that was more like Polynesian, Hawaii-type culture. And then Fireflower one, or the Wildflower one was, like, fine, but, like, I don't know. I think each one of them had their own little taste, but it was definitely an amalgam of cultures. But I also didn't have, like, any expectations, so I was able to just kind of accept it for what it was and enjoy it. Yeah, it was some... There's some interesting mixes. They did seem like a hodgepodge of a few different cultures and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really like the characters. I mean, I guess the tournament did feel the kind of the weirdest, because it's like, oh yeah, we have this tournament to, like, go off and die against it. And it was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. So, yeah, and the dwelling in Saurians was an interesting gimmick. I thought the indwell thing was pretty interesting. Where it's like, oh yeah, you inhabit a Saurian and, like, do various puzzles or do other shit like that. And the fact that we had the little Saurian as our buddy for a bunch of the world quests was pretty fun too. And I think learning about, like, the ancient dragon race was pretty interesting. I think there was a lot of lore stuff in that land that I really liked. Where it's like we learned a lot more about. Fuck, why am I going so slow? God damn it. I can hear her singing. So yeah, I think that was an interesting mechanic, and, like, yeah, like we learned, like, a lot of lore about the Abyss. We learned a little bit more about that. We learned a little bit more about Conrio with Capitano and, like, their ley lines and stuff like that. We learned a little bit about the Angel of Death or whatever, Renova, although we didn't know her as Renova at the time. And then we learned more about the ancient Saurian civilization, and from that well, I don't know if we learned it from that specifically, but I do know that, like, the ancient Saurian civilization was, like, actually the first civilization, and it was them who lived here, and it was the Descenders that first came and fucked over the dragons, and caused the big ancient dragon to leave and come back all tainted with the Abyss, and caused another war which shattered the moon and stuff. Like, so it's like, yeah, like, Natland did a lot of lore stuff where we learned a lot about how the world was created, as Fontaine, not really. Like, we learned a little bit how Fontaine was created and how, they're partially oceanids, like partially human, partially oceanids, and how we learned that what happened to the ancient water dragon, and how Neuvillette inherited that role, but not that much. It was a fun story, but like you say, Fontaine was good, but like Fontaine's only good. Like the best parts of Fontaine were the later quests. Like the first act of Fontaine was kind of boring. Like the trial where we're trying to defend, like that was kind of meh. It was okay, but like honestly, it was like the later stuff when we're actually like, and even like going in like even chapter 2 was kind of or 3 was kind of meh. Like when we went into the prison, it's like the prison wasn't super interesting. It was only the end of that chapter that was kind of interesting. It was like, oh, cool, there's the primordial sea, and we're freezing it over. And then it was the later chapters that were the best parts of it. But like the lead up was kind of slow. Whereas in like Natlan hit hard. Like we fought the Abyss on release, I think. Or yeah, like we fought back a big chunk of the Abyss on the 5.0 patch. And then we did even more Abyss fighting in the 5.1 patch, or I think it was. So we did a lot of Abyss shit, and then later patches slowed down a bit. But I think we learned a lot more lore shit from them as well, like the interlude where we met that weird Conrian who traveled through time, which introduced something super crazy because before we knew like the game started with us flying through the air with our brother getting attacked by Asmodee, but now like our brother talks about how he was in Conria, and when someone came up to him with our key, he rushed back to our spaceship and found us still in cryogenic sleep, which is like, wait a minute, I thought we were fighting, like I thought we were flying through the skies and fought Asmodee. Like, how the fuck are we in the space shuttle? Like, I assumed that we got trapped by Asmodee and he escaped, and then when he escaped, he wound up in Conria, and that's how we met them. We were still trapped by Asmodee, and he had escaped and was with the Conrians at that time. But here we are. We know that now, at the time of that, he knew the Conrians somehow, but we were in cryogenic sleep. Also, how are we in cryogenic sleep? Wasn't the whole... Yeah, so like that really calls into question how the start happened. Also, it's also when they Natlan is also when they got the fate, that loom of fate or whatever. The Hilichurl dude. What was his name? But it was that Hilichurl guy that we first met in Sumeru. And basically, because no, congratulations on winning. No, it was the Hilichurl dude who we helped out in Sumeru. It was the guy who was helping out Sumeru, and it was like his son who had become a Hilichurl, and he had that little scarf on his arm or something like that. And we meet him in Sumeru, and we learn about like the Upside Down Idol and one of the sinners and shit like that. And basically, we met him again, and it was in that frozen time thing where like people were having weird dreams, and it was because what was his name? Cherubard? Yeah, Cherubert, or Charabert. I think Charabert is the Hilichurl name, or maybe for the father. But it was that guy. Basically, it's the guy who stole something from Dane. It was in Natlan where they stole something from Dainsleif, which allowed them to go to the Loom of Fate, and were able to like create the device that like allows them to essentially, I guess, make ley lines or whatever. And it's the device that they showed in your sibling's hand that looks like a weird, like 2-tube thingy. So Natlan had a lot of lore and stuff. So like I think Natlan's really good because one, the story was interesting, and they told the story in a really unique way. Like, that fighting against the hordes of the Abyss was a really interesting way to do it. And it just lasted for such a long time. I'm like, wow, it just keeps on going. This is really cool. So I think Natlan is pretty good for all the lore aspects of it. Honestly, if I had to say what's the weakest country, I'd say Liyue is actually probably the weakest country. I mean, I guess unless you count the chasm as part of Liyue, then maybe Liyue is okay. Then maybe Mondstadt. But yeah, I think it was Cheribert was the Hilichurl. And it was like, Cheribert's like father, but basically we meet. Did we meet him in Sumeru again? God, it's been so long. But basically but like, Cheribert's. I mean, yeah, from exploration, Fontaine was amazing. Going underwater in Fontaine was insanely cool. Like, it's just so pretty, and the music was so good and calming, very peaceful. And so yeah, like exploring in Fontaine feels really good because all the locations look very pretty, and then going underwater looks even more pretty. And then, yeah, even for the prisons, like, yeah, sure, inside the prison looks very prison-y, but it looks pretty unique and interesting, very steampunky. And then, like, it's still all the underwater sections were really cool. And then, of course, the floating cubes were really cool conceptually. And Natlan, by comparison, is fairly normal. And in fact, it's somewhat annoying because of how much elevation there is. And that's why, like, when I was doing Natlan exploration, I would constantly be using Mulani and Shilinen in my team because they just make traversing through Natlan so much more convenient. And that's why I haven't felt the need to use them in this one, because traveling around Nod-Krai is not super tough. Like, it's not crazy. Elevations are normal. You could actually just crawl up them if you need to. It's not so high where it's like, yeah, it's just inconvenient.
君の気配がしたから後ろから近づけないか試してみたの。よっぽど暇なんだな。
Yeah. I mean, at least Sumeru had those little grapple points, and I really like the grapple points. The introduction of those grapple points was a lot of fun. I like them a lot. But there definitely were some moments that were tough, especially on release. Exploring under the desert was such a humongous pain in the ass. Like, holy shit, it was so annoying. And now that you have maps underground, it's not as bad. But, like, I was trying to explore stuff, and yeah, it was just, like, so fucking long. And then you look at your map and, like, where am I? I'm like, oh, I'm here. But, like, not realizing that even if you mark that point on the map, like, there were sometimes multiple points that converge at the same location, but were on varying levels of depth. So, like, you might be on the middle, like, tunnel, and so trying to figure out, like, how you got to that tunnel and which entry point you went to and how you got to there was fucking insane. It was absolutely terrible. And, like, I just remember so many instances where I'm, like, using my compass, and I'm like, oh, compass says treasure this way, and my compass is pointing directly into a wall. I'm like, fuck. So I'm close enough so my treasure compass recognizes it, but it's pointing literally into a wall, and I have no clue how to get to exactly on the other side of this wall. Especially because, like, when I go down the tunnel on either end, it's nowhere near that location, and I'm just like, I have no clue. So, yeah, now that they have maps, it's nowhere near as bad. But yeah, I did all that exploration before that came out, so it was rough. And I'm sure there's still some treasure chests under there I still haven't gotten. Because I just, like, I got to 100%. I'm like, I'm done. I got it. I did all I need to do. I did all the side quests. I got to 100%. That's all I need.
でも確かにあの頃も特にやることはなかったかな。
But it was mostly that first area. Because that first area had so many underground areas. The second one wasn't as bad. There were a few underground tunnels, but they were fairly, like, relatively short, so you couldn't get lost as much, and definitely weren't as layered. And then in, like, the third area, it was mostly just, like, one or two tunnels, and it was pretty easy to figure out how to get to there, even without a map. But then I think I think it was Fontaine that they did the multiple level maps because they had to for the underwater shit.
女皇様が必要としてたのは月神の力だけ。神の心を手に入れるようにって指示は受けてなかった。
Yeah, it was like Sumeru had 5 areas. Well, I mean, technically 4 areas, because there was because like there was the rainforesty area with the huge trees, but like all of that kind of was released on the 3.0, and then all the new zones for Sumeru were all desert, and you're just like, goddamn, like so much desert. Although technically there was a little patch of green in the third desert area, and I did think the third desert area was pretty cool with like that crack in the sky, and you have to revive the tree to resist it. Like that was pretty cool. It looks very pretty now. Yes, I mean I use a map to keep track of the oculi as well, but I also had to use one for those. Finding all of them was also a pain because they weren't super obvious. Some were, but like yeah, I mean, and for me, I am mostly a completionist, so like I was doing a lot of the stuff anyway. And so, like, some of them were like, oh, yeah, when you go up to the top of this thing and you find the withered zones using the binoculus, you could also, find an R&R around there as well. So it's like, I was doing a lot of the stuff. So most of the time, I was getting a lot of them. But yeah, there are definitely some that were just, like, in the middle of nowhere or just, like, not super obvious, which I'm of two minds of that. Like, I do like the fact that there's, like, stuff to explore and do, but it is... What I don't like is having to like re-explore an area. Like when you go through an area, you think you've done everything, and it's like, oh, actually, no, you have to backtrack to that area. Yeah. Although, actually, I do think it was kind of annoying that so much exploration was locked behind like doing some of the R&R quests. So like you couldn't unlock, like you couldn't like use certain dendro powers to get past certain zones. Like that's kind of annoying because again, it means you have to backtrack. You have to do more of the R&R quests, and it's like, oh, cool, now you've met the R&R who allows you to, like, revitalize this or interact with this to turn it into a totem that you can now, poke and open the gate. Stuff like that, where it's like, now you have to, because then you have to remember, shit, where were all those gates again? Fuck. Yeah, and it's just like, I don't like backtracking. Ideally, the way I like exploration is where you can just, like, do everything you need to in a zone and then move on. Those instances where they're like, nope, sorry, like, you're going to get quest powers. Like, I'm playing Borderlands 4 right now. Well, not like literally right now, but I've been playing it since it came out. And there are some zones, there are some things you can't do because you have to progress through the story. And then, oh, you've gotten to this part of the story. Oh, cool, now you can go back and do these things. And it's like, if I was 100%ing every single zone, I would have been able to do everything except that because I need to do the story later in the game. And it's like, I mean, I get it, sure, but like it is kind of annoying because it's like I like to like 100% a zone and then move on for the most part. But I also gave up and I'm not even 100%ing it at the moment. I'm just focusing on the campaign, and once I do the campaign, then I'll go back and 100% everything. But yeah, generally that's kind of how I like to do it. I like to just make sure that go from one point to and just explore as much as I possibly can in one like systematic way where it's like, okay, I start at the bottom and then go upwards and try to find everything I can and maybe backtrack a bit just to see if I missed anything. But like ones where they like force you to backtrack, where it's like, yes, no matter how well you explored, even if you were the perfect explorer and you found literally everything, we've added a few things. So we've added a few things that stop you from actually getting 100% because story. And it's like, that sucks. Like, conceptually, like I just don't like that. It's not like the end of the world, obviously. It's like, okay, you just kind of say whatever and just keep doing the side quest, and then eventually you'll unlock it and go back. But I always just find it hard because it's hard to remember where all like the stopping points were. It's like, yes, where was the thing you couldn't interact with? Like, and like because it's not it's like you should mark them on the map, but like if you didn't, then you're kind of screwed because you can't remember where everything was. I kind of do that too. I want to make sure I do the main story first. Uh, and I get through the main story, and I'll explore on the way. So if they're like, "Hey, go to the Frostmoon Scions," yeah, sure. Like it's not like I'm ignoring chests and stuff. I'll get chests and I'll get the teleport spots on the way. But I'm mostly just kind of gunning for that, and then once I've done that, then I finished the quest. Well, yeah, I just popped back here because I wanted my Ascendant Gleam buff back. So I've done all the Archon quests. I've met what's his name, Rocher, and so all the Archon quests are done. And I think I've done the starting quest for the tribe. So I've done the starting quest for Crumclank. Oh yeah, I still have a ton of side quests to do. I haven't done much exploration. I was kind of saving it for like weekends and shit, because I have more time. Because basically what I've been doing is that once I get off work, I play Borderlands. I play Borderlands for a few hours, and then after a few hours of Borderlands, then it's time to go to sleep or wind down and shit. So I don't do Genshin at that point. Whereas on weekends, I did my Borderlands first, and then after I finish that, I have more time in the day, so I can come back and. I mean, I did Genshin today because I wanted to wrap up the Aino event. So I finished all that. I did all the mini games. I did all the quests. So now it's back. Now I can just focus on the exploration and all the side quests I've been missing.
散歩したり、月を眺めたり、たまに歌を歌ったり。でもサンドローネから歌うのをやめなさいって言われてからあまり歌わなくなった。サンドローネって歌が上手だって言ってくれたよ。ただ私がファデュイに入ったばかりの頃は私の歌を聴くと他の人が緊張しちゃうからって。
Yeah, I got Llama. Because Llama is super, super hot.
知らない人からすると私が何か能力を使ってるんじゃないかと誤解するかもって。
And she's useful as well. And powerful. Yeah. I mean, he's a dude, so yeah, of course I'm skipping him.
なるほどな。
That's pretty much it. Like, a majority of the characters I don't have are guys. I think there's only a few women I didn't get. Like, I didn't get Varessa. I think it was because I got too many. I was too low on Prima Gems, so I wasn't able to. And I was, like, saving for Skirk, I think. Or I was saving for somebody. And Varessa just kind of came out. Yep, not even Nouvelette.
もう一つあるよ。
I think the only
サンドローネは
male character
中に研究をして
I've
昼間
gotten
は寝てるんだけど
is
私が
Kazuha.
歌うと昼寝ができないんだって。
I think every other... I don't think I have any 5-star character besides Kazuha. 5-star male character besides Kazuha that I've actually gotten. I think I'm missing every male 5-star except for him.
だから夜中にサンドローネの部屋の前で歌うようにしたんだけど、それでも追い出されてしまったの。仲良くアルレッキーノと会ったばかりの頃、彼女は私と
I mean, I didn't like... I played Nouvelette in, like, various events and stuff, and I didn't really like that playstyle either. Like, I just don't like the whole, like, holding the charge, like, thing down. I just didn't like that.
いつも足音も立てずに後ろから近づいてきてた。さっきの私みたいにね。だから私もそのゲームをやってみてたんだけど、仕方ないから月の力を借りて、その時初めて後ろから驚かすことに成功したんだ。 でも
Oh yeah, I never.
その日を境に
His playstyle was
彼女はそのゲームをしな
always
くな
kind
っ
of
ちゃった
annoying, and like his grappling thing was never really that fun to do. And like I remember some of the like events, the co-op events, where it was like, oh yeah, like you and three other players are all Kinich, and you're like trying to collect coins from each other. And like the arena they used for him was like so, it was like a circular arena, which does not make, is not really good for him because he needs more. He does mostly just, he propels himself forward, not really propels himself up that much. And so a big circular arena is not really good for him. Like what he really needed was just like a long, like football-sized arena, like a rectangular arena, to go back and forth down the arena and to get coins. So,
アルレッキーノはゲームの
and yeah, his
つもりじゃ
playstyle
な
is
か
kind
っ
of
た
weird, and then just Dendro DPS were kind of weird too.
博士からも公開の力の研究に手を貸してほしいって時々言われたよ。何回か付き合ったけど、空爆機を使ってこれを叩きなさいとか、あれを操作しなさいとかばっかりで。
Yeah, I like Milani's playstyle for the most part. Although one thing I do dislike in some of the Natland areas is that like they have enemies on like cliffs and shit, and then if you're like Mulani or Jillinan, it's so easy to like just fly off the edge of the cliff because you just like it doesn't hold you back, and you're trying to like you have to move back and forth, like especially with Milani, you have to like go through it back and forth to like get your Sharky stacks. And so it's just super easy to like fly off the edge, which is kind of annoying.
家でアルレッキーノとサンドローネは優しかった。それから、
Is it the Star Leader?
手を出して。ロザリンに言われたことがあるんだ。感謝の気持ちはちゃんと伝えなさいって。
Rosalind. Yeah, probably. Let's see, of the upcoming characters... Oh, Nefer, definitely. I'm definitely getting Nefer. Nefer is insanely hot. Nefer, Columbina... Maybe N? I don't know. I don't even know what N's playstyle is going to be. Yeah. Nefer definitely. It seems like she also plays well with Llama as well for those teams, so that will be pretty cool. Her animations look super hot too. I've seen them. She's basically a Dendro Catalyst user who like just does a lot of kicks and shit. So looks pretty interesting. And she also has she also like changes the blooms as well in some way. I'm not sure if it overrides Nilo's, but we'll see. And so yeah, Nefer, Columbina. I'm not too sure about Alice. Like, I don't know. Like, the metal hat is super weird. Like, this is the frame of a hat, not the actual fabric. Didn't look super appealing. Maybe Alice. Maybe Anne. Whoever. Nicole, something or other. Maybe her, but I don't even know what her playstyle is like. But yeah. It's hard to say. Yeah, like I don't, because it seemed like Llama kind of replaces Nilo in a way because she like supercharges the blooms. I think Nefer does something similar to it, so I think it might replace her. So you might be able to just do other Hydro units. So you could have like Llama, Nefer, and then just any two Hydros. And it would be kind of nice if they explode in a way that doesn't fuck you over. Because that was always the kind of shitty thing about Nilo, is she supercharges the blooms, so they explode in a bigger AoE and faster, but they also damage you. And so you always had to have like a healer on staff to constantly be healing you from the damage that you're doing to them as well as yourself, which is kind of annoying. So I'm kind of hoping Nefer's one basically just doesn't do that at all, so you don't have to worry about constantly healing, because then it gives you a little more options with who you choose for your water units.
今日は話を聞いてくれてありがとう。今日はここまでにしておきましょう。
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's what I came here for the buff.
そっか。じゃあ今日はそろ
Yeah, so it gives me Ascendant. I mean, Nilo teams were always super restrictive anyway, because you just could only use Dendro and Hydro, and especially when she came out, there just weren't that many Dendro, because it was right at the start of Sumeru. Open. But then, yeah, the fact that, I mean, so you needed a healer, so that's why it helped when they had, like, Dendro healers as well, like, Baizu. Yeah. Which I'm fine with. I'm fine if you want to make, like, a super team, and Escoffier, oh, hey, it says stuff. Escoffier is interesting, because it does make freeze teams better, and it doesn't have to be, like, Skirk specifically, but just freeze teams in general. Like, that's the kind of the point of Escoffier, is just super buff freeze teams. Kind of make up for it, because freeze, it's as a reaction, doesn't do damage. It's good for CC, but bosses can't get frozen, so you can't actually CC bosses, which means the freeze teams are just naturally at a disadvantage against bosses, which is like where most of the challenging content is fighting bosses. So it did kind of suck for them. So I think Escoffier is fine. Like, I'm fine with like introducing niche characters that kind of like change how reactions work. Like Nilo as a concept is really interesting. The fact that you can do this hyperbloom. Hey, back here. These hyperbloom teams was really interesting. I did like that. That's just once a week or something. Okay. Yeah, so it seems like it's once a week. Oh, I see. When her thingy glows blue. Thingy glows blue and orcs are about. Not long forgotten, because like Navia, that's what Navia exists around Crystallize. So Navia came out in Fontaine, and she kind of revitalized Crystallize a little bit. At least she gave a useful utility for Crystallize. But it would be kind of interesting if they had, like, basically they turned Crystallizes into, like, Hyperblooms, so crystals could explode as well. So, like there was some Geo unit that could create, like, unstable Crystallize reactions, and they would explode. But yeah. Generally, it is kind of rough, because the crystals themselves aren't even super strong. Like, you don't get that big of a shield. Now, there is an interesting thing about shields, is that any shield at all will stop you from staggering. So even if a hit that's going to do 10,000 damage comes and hits you, if it hits you with no shield, you get smacked around. If you have a 1,000 health shield and it hits you for 10,000, you take 9,000 damage but don't get knocked around. So just having a shield does prevent you from getting smacked and battered around, which is interesting. But, so like, yeah, I mean, that's what I was kind of hoping, if they made the shield stronger. But, like, the only way to get the shield stronger would be increase elemental mastery, but, like, building elemental mastery on Geo is such a fucking waste of time. It's like, nope, just don't even bother. It's absolute trash. It's a waste of a reaction. Don't even try. They just give them something else. So, it would be nice if they gave them something. They could easily do something like that with, like, unstable Crystallize, where, like, Crystallizes would shatter, or... And I do think that the buff... Oh yeah, I can't change party numbers like this. I do think the buff they gave to the Geo Resonance was good. Like, I think the buff they gave to Geo Resonance was good, where, yeah, like their damage dealt is increased if you're protected by a shield. So like that gives Crystallize some meaning, because it's like, okay, well, as long as you have Crystallize, you can do extra damage. And like lowering their Geo Resistance is okay, but so like Geo Resistance is definitely helpful if you're in an all Geo team. But yeah, like they've tried a few things for Geo. Like they brought Arataki Ito in to, be a Geo DPS, but he sucks and I hate him. And does it show? Oh yeah, I guess I did get Albedo and Zhongli because they were early on. But basically, since Kazuha, I don't think I bought another guy. Yeah, like I got. I don't know. I've tried using them. Like they gave you him to use for some of the events. And like every time I use him, he just feels like so insanely weak. He just feels so weak, and his team just feels terrible. But yeah, Varessa and Jian Yun are the only female characters I don't have. So I might get them at some point just so that I can say that yes, I had never purchased a single male character at Beyond. But yeah, so like obviously the only reason I really even got Child was because the only reason I even got Child was because Diona was on his banner when his banner first came out, and there weren't that many shield units at the time. So like it was Nicole was the only. No, it's not Nicole. Noelle. Noelle was the only shield unit at the time. Then Zhongli came out, and I got Zhongli. But like, and Zhongli was like, oh wow, he's a really good shielder. And then Diona came out, I'm like, oh cool, a super powerful ice shield. That's kind of useful. So I rolled for constellations on Diona and got Child. Well, Nicole exists in Zenless and Zero, so I got kind of confused. But yeah, Noelle. Noelle was the only shielder at the time. And then Gianna came out. And yeah, I got Venti because it's like you're pulling on the first one. And Venti, I mean, everyone was using Venti back in the day because they were like, oh my god, Venti, look, his skill will blast you upwards. It's really good for exploration. You gotta get him. And I definitely regret getting Klee. Like, I kind of regret getting Venti, kind of regret getting Klee, kind of regret getting Tartaglia. Although, to be fair, I actually do use Venti in Imaginarium Theater. He actually is pretty useful. His crowd control is really good. Yeah, I've played him a few times in some of the events, and God, I hate him so much. Like, his playstyle is so trash. He's so annoying to use. Like, he just feels so sluggish and just like I have issues because it feels like he doesn't like respond to button presses properly. So you have to jump up and you're like, okay, I jumped up, now I want to slay him down. And so I'm pressing like X and then square and X and then square. And it just feels so clunky. It feels like it takes him a while. Sometimes he doesn't like respond when I press either X to jump or square to the or maybe it's circle to ground pound. Either way, it's like I'm alternating buttons and it just doesn't work super well. The fact that he drains his HP is just like, it's annoying. And Kazuha, I didn't actually get him on his first banner. Because I got Eula. Eula was the first half of the banner. Kazuha was the second. I eventually got Kazuha because of how well he was a good buffer for elements. So he was really good with Kaching. And then Ito always looks stupid. I'm tempted for... Well, Kinich is not as... I've used Kinich in the times you can use him for events and shit. He's not super bad. Like, you get used to it. it definitely feels like something you could get used to. But the problem with Zhao is that sometimes like I'm hitting the buttons when I feel like I should be hitting the buttons, and they just like he does not respond. So I'm like, yes, I pressed X, you didn't jump, like for some reason, like because there does seem to be some like button lag on controller at least. That like when I press a button, if you press a button and then immediately afterwards, like if you press a button, there's like a half second where you cannot press another button. It just will not recognize that button input. And I don't know if it also exists on console or on computer and PC, but I do know that on console, yeah, it just feels like there's. So sometimes when you're for Zhao, you want to press X and then circle, X and circle, X and circle. So you want to like do that over and over and over again. And sometimes, and every now and then, if you do it too quickly, yeah, that happens for Hu Tao too, where it's like, and so for some of them it doesn't really matter because it's like it's not super urgent, but yeah, there are some ones where you're just like you're trying to do it and it's just like you press the button and they just don't do it what you want them to do, and you're like, why? And so yeah, that button lag really kind of fucks it up, and especially for Zhao, like Hu Tao. I mean, I guess if you're only doing charge attacks, but you can still do her basic attacks fine. But like Zhao is only that. It's always X circle, X circle, X circle, and then repositioning yourself if the enemies move out of the way is just kind of a hassle too. Not a great playstyle. Ito is just kind of generic. Aito is not super bad, but like I'd rather just save my money for female characters. Sino is not great. I don't like his playstyle. Wanderer is fine, I guess. I'll hate them as nope. Yeah, I really like Raiden too. I got my Envision Echo for her. It's very pretty. I'm tempted to actually level my Raiden up to 100. I have enough things for it. Raiden actually does get a lot of bonuses for that. I have 5 of them. I could do it. Yeah, I could get her to 100. I could get 5 characters at 95, 1 character to 100 and 2 to 95, or 1 character to 100 and wait to get 1 more to get a second character to 100. I've gotten a lot of. I have a C6 to Luke, and I've gotten more constellations after that too. So that's been kind of shit. And so it did kind of blow because it's like, oh, cool, you get a constellation on a C6 to Luke. Yeah. So basically, you get C6, and then if you get him again, basically before what they would give you is they would give you the star glitter. They give you 25 star glitter. So essentially, something you could trade for 5 pulls. Hey, you wasted 90 pulls to get this character you have already at C6. Here's 5 pulls back. Awesome, thank you. So luckily, it's retroactive. So if you had gotten beyond C6 for any character, they did remember that. So thank God, because that was annoying. Same for Mona. I have Mona at C6. That's what one of the is it this one? Yeah. That's what one of these things is. It's like, so I have my like if I could use this choice to get a constellation for Diluc to get me an extra one of those star glitter instantly if I wanted to. Well, not instantly, obviously. I could pick to get a constellation for Diluc or Mona, and I could get one of those masterless stellar thingies. I could manually do that. It's like that is one strategy you could think of if you. It's like either you get constellations on characters you want, like, or you could try to like max out other characters. Like I could get my Kaching to C6. That way, I have 3 characters that could potentially lose a 50-50, but still instead get me a thingy. So there is that. There are some people who are like, oh, if you have any C6 standard banner, you could use it to just get one of those things automatically, or you could actually just work on constellations and shit. For me, I'm actually going Nilo. I want to get my Nilo to C2. My Dea, I lost 50-50 and got another Dea, so I almost C6 on Dea too. Gotten a surprising amount of her. And my Tignari as well. I didn't get his limited banner at all, and his C3 means I gotten Tignari. I've lost 50-50s and gotten Tignari 4 times total. It's insane. Dea, I think I got her to C1 when she had her banner, and then just got 3 extra or 4 extra after that for losing 50/50s. I mean, it at least gives you, at least it adds some extra like pity for that, so you don't have to worry too much anymore. Because that's what kind of sucked, is that when you lost 50/50s and you wanted to get other standard banner characters, but then you get the character you already have a C6 on. You're like, God damn it, because like it's just like it's getting a middle finger to that shit. So it adds insult to injury. It's like not only did you lose your 50/50, which is sad, but you lost it in a way that doesn't benefit you at all. Like at least getting constellations for a standard banner, it's like cool, you're making them stronger. But getting constellations they can't use because they're already C6, it's like, well, that's just throwing that in the trash. So I like that. I like that they've done this. There was always hints that they were gonna increase the level cap to 100. Like I think even like in that land, they were people speculating that there would be level hundreds. So I do like that they've done this to at least allow to give some purpose to it. It's like, yeah, you might have lost your 50/50. Yeah, you might have gotten it for a character you didn't give a shit about, or you had C6 and you didn't really want, but at the very least you got something for it, right? And I do like doing, like the way I play this game is I like to do things that give me the most advantages at once. So like when I'm doing side quests that take me all around the place, I'll do exploration at the same time. So I'm like, double dipping in that. Like I'm not only am I doing the side quest, but I'm also exploring the area while I'm doing it. So I do like when they do shit like that. That's why, like in Honkai Star Rail, it's like, yeah, sure, you might be farming relics, but you can scrap all the 5-star relics to then craft the relic you actually want at the end of it. So it's like, yeah, you might have gotten screwed, but at least we have some method of kind of redeeming it. Not as much, it's not as redeeming as just getting it flat out, but it's better than nothing. And so I do kind of like that. Obviously, getting C6 in a character is tough. Like, if you're free to play, if you're free to play, it would be something like. Actually, I'm thinking about I'm stopping. It's already kind of late for me, so I was gonna just chat with this person and then call it a day. It's already 9 o'clock. Yeah, because I'm in Pacific time. So it's getting kind of late. I've actually played this more than I was expecting. I was thinking about popping in for like an hour or two, and I just ended up chatting with everybody and staying for longer. That's been a lot of fun. And I'll be on tomorrow too. So I'll be on tomorrow first thing in the morning to play. I'll be playing Borderlands 4 some more. Maybe beating the game. I'm not sure. It says I'm only 68% into the campaign, so maybe not, because I'm not progressing the campaign that much. But it does feel like should be getting close to the end, because I'm sieging the city where the final boss is. So I'm not sure why that's going to take. But either way, I'm going to do Borderlands 4 tomorrow morning and afternoon. And then basically the same as today, after Borderlands 4 is done, I'll be popping onto Genshin and doing more exploration and side quests. Try to work through some of these ones I still have to do. But it was nice chatting with you. If you're on again around this time tomorrow, I will be on as well. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.